Respected Shri Jagannathan Ji, IAS, Director General of Shipping, our mentors and well-wishers, our President, Captain Prabhat Nigam, our Vice President, and of course all our supporters who have made this program possible. Let me tell you a small bit about MTG, and then we will go on to lighting the lamp. The Maritime Trainers Guild, MTG in short, is a professional body founded in 2011 and is the one and only association in this country which works for maritime trainers. The aim of MTG is to create a robust network of maritime educators who are committed to excellence in the maritime field. By providing a platform for professional development and collaboration, MTG seeks to support trainers in their mission to educate and prepare the next generation of maritime professionals of this country. We strive to provide a platform for knowledge sharing, collaboration, and innovation in maritime training practices. Through our efforts, we intend to enhance the overall quality and effectiveness of maritime education, contributing to the safety and efficiency of the global maritime industry. May I please invite our chief guest, Shri Jagannathan Ji, to please come up on stage to light our inaugural lamp. President of MTG, Captain Sagi sir, our mentor, and our Vice President, Dr. Surendra. Captain Halbe, please.
Nirvignam kuru me deva sarvakaryeshu sarvada. Namo Namah Shri Siddhi Vinayak Namo Namah Ashtavinayak Namo Namah Ganapati Bappa Moria Mangala Murti Moria Om Ganganapati Namo Namah Shri Siddhi Vinayak Namo Namah Ashtavinayak Namo Namah Ganapati Bappa Moria Mangala Murti Moria Om Ganganapati Namo Namah Sri Siddhi Vinayak Namo Namah Ashtavinayak Namo Namah Ganapati Bappa Moria Mangala Murti Moria Om Ganganapati Namo Namah Sri Siddhi Vinayak Namo Namah.
Our President, Captain Prabhat Nigam, is a well-known personality in the maritime industry and has many accolades to his name. He began his maritime career by joining the prestigious training ship Rajendra in the year 1981. After a sea career of almost 23 years, he finally hung up his sailing boots in 2006. Presently, he serves as the Vice President of the Chitkara University in Punjab and is the principal of the School of Maritime Studies there. And of course, he is the president of the Maritime Trainers Guild. He is also a Government of India DGS examiner for mates and masters with Directorate General of Shipping, and as a member of the Board of Technical Committee of IR class, he contributes actively in the proceedings of the Indian Register of Shipping. He is in the team of several ambitious projects under the Ministry of Shipping and is presently involved in developing the maritime traffic lanes, including TSS and the VTMS on the coast of India. In his 19 years ashore, he has been closely associated with QHSSE, auditing and maritime education and training. He is a lead auditor of ISO 9001, 14001, 45001, ISM and ISPS, and an assessor for NAAC. May I invite Captain Prabhat Nigam to please come up and deliver his welcome address.
Sir, you have been on similar occasion last year in Chennai, and this is our logo. On the risk of being repetitive, it says, Tamso Ma Jyotirgame. Lead us from darkness to light. Sir, we firmly believe that there is but one wealth which grows by sharing, and that is knowledge. The mission of MTG is towards excellence in maritime training. And our vision clearly states that we intend to create a world-class association of maritime teaching facilitators who would set benchmarks for furthering maritime training internationally and be recognized as a forum of knowledge and skill enhancement by global organizations such as IMO. So when we created MTG, in fact, when we founded MTG in 2011, we started with maybe 2 like-minded trainers. But later on, when we launched, we started with people who had some eminence in the industry and basically to be guided by them. And we call them our Nauratan or the 9 mentors. These are our founder directors. We then developed a system so that we can go all across the country, and we developed 4 cardinal heads: North, South, East and West. The present cardinal head of North India is Ms. Naomi Rivari of ARI. South is Dr. Sanjeev Vakil. He was supposed to come, and has he come today? He is on his way. He just sent me a message. And for East is Captain Nalin Pandey. We recently did a conference in Kolkata where he organized things. And for West, that is Mumbai, is Captain Viraf Chichkar. Viraf, can we see where you? Okay. These are our corporate members, which you can see over here also. On 4th of August 2011, the first idea was conceptualized to form a group of like-minded maritime trainers. Hence, the Trainers Guild was formed. On 23rd February 2019, that is 5 years ago, MTG was registered and formally launched by then Director General of Shipping, Shri Amitabh Kumar, at a glittering function in Courtyard Marriott, Mumbai. It's not synchronized. Okay, the first meeting on 30th of May 2013, the agenda was current training trends and contemporary needs, on-board training and its effectiveness. In our second meeting the same year, our agenda was STCW 2010 and MLC 2006 requirement. In our third meeting next year, it was bridging the gap in training. And mind you, sir, all these themes or the titles, topics were generally given by the Director General of Shipping. We used to communicate with Director General of Shipping and he used to propose, okay, we need discussion on this topic. Then it was followed by a review on the entry standards and training at pre-sea level. In 2015, we delved into marine engineering competency requirement for service on board current scenario in India. The second anniversary at the FMTI Navi Mumbai, the agenda was critical analysis of today's training techniques being used in maritime education and sharing of experiences. There we started a voyage through a new approach in training. This was the beginning of digitalization. In 2016, our agenda was mentoring, training requirements with focus on competency examination vis-a-vis industry requirement, and desired standards in a maritime teaching profession. Again, in the same year, we delved upon critical analysis of today's training techniques being used in maritime education and sharing of experiences. Okay. And the seventh meeting was training requirement with focus on competency exam vis-a-vis industry requirement. This was a big seminar in Courtyard Marriott Hotel, and the then hot topic was on examination system and the way forward. These are some of the pictures. Then this was our launch day on 23rd February 2019, again in Courtyard Marriott, interactive seminar on challenges in maritime training. Thereafter, just before COVID, a year before COVID, we went, all of us, most of us sitting here, to New Delhi and did this function in India Habitat Center. Nobody knew next year COVID is coming, but we were already talking about digitalizing the maritime training. Thereafter, COVID happened, and in pandemic, there was a circular from DG Shipping regarding training the e-trainers and training the e-learners. We were the first organization to conduct a systematic training for training the e-trainers and training the e-learners. And the then DGS had recognized, I don't know whether it was on official note, but verbally I know that he said anybody who has done training in MTG on train the e-trainer and train the e-learner will be recognized by DG Shipping. Then the hot topic came was NEP 2020. We had an online seminar, understanding NEP 2020 and synchronizing it with maritime education and training. And of course, the blue economy. MTG Foundation Day in 2021, these were the topics: modern training and assessment techniques, panel discussion, online training by MTIs for pre-C and post-C courses, and importance of onboard training and mentoring. These are the panelists and speakers. In 2022, on the similar Foundation Day celebration, the topic was enhancing capabilities of trainers and training. This is a picture of our AGM. Then this was the launch day celebration, that is 23rd February last year. And the panel discussion was on gender sensitization. Again, you can see how synchronized we were. Same time DG was issuing circular on gender sensitization, and we had a discussion on gender sensitization. So this was last year when you had graced our MTG function in Chennai. Going forward from where we left Chennai, we went to East India in Kolkata, and our topics was embracing AI and digital tools and STCW revision. Again, STCW revision was just on annual that time, and this white paper was sent to your good officer. This is today, continuing from where we left last year in Chennai and this year in Kolkata. We have aptly called the theme of today's discussion is adapting to disruptive changes in maritime education and training. Mind you, disruptive has got no negative connotations. Disruptive here means the sudden changes which is happening today. Before I say thank you, just a few notes which I scribbled just before you came, sir. Now, the present demand is NEP 2020, which we had been discussing since 2022, and synchronizing the maritime education and training. In NEP 2020, there are 9 focus areas, another agenda topic. Also, one of the very important things in NEP 2020 is massive online courses, MOOC, which we say, massive online open courses, MOOC. And there are 2 very important portals of Government of India, where UGC has asked most of the universities to work upon. One is the SWAYAM, SWAYAM, that is the Student Web Active Learning Young Aspirants. And the other is National Program for Technical Enhanced Learning, and NAPTEL. So I can say for ourselves that we at Chitkara are working on that, and we encourage, and today the discussion will happen, that how fast is maritime education and training adapting into NEP 2020. Thank you, and we wish that the knowledge sharing process goes on. Thank you very much.
Friends, we are very fortunate to have our Director General of Shipping with us today here. He's a very busy man, and he has found the time to be with us. Thank you so much, sir. Let me introduce our chief guest, Shri Shyam Jagannathan, a 1997 batch IAS officer of the Assam Meghalaya cadre, assumed office of the Director General of Shipping under Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways, Government of India on the 3rd of July. So that's just over 1 year, and I'm sure he's well established and very much at the helm of affairs in shipping now. He has earlier served as Zonal Development Commissioner, Santa Cruz Electronic Export Processing Zone, which is SEEPS, Special Economic Zone under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India at Mumbai. With the State Government of Assam as Commissioner and Secretary Finance Department and Commissioner North Assam Division, as Commissioner Commercial Taxes, Chairman Civil Supplies Corporation, Department of Food and Civil Supplies, Department of Finance, Government of Kerala, and as District Magistrate of West Garo Hills in Meghalaya. All these give him a diverse exposure of the three states of Assam, Kerala and Meghalaya, and now obviously shipping is national in its character, so he has that much more reach. He has domain knowledge in the core areas of public finances, export promotion, prospective planning, public policy analysis and sectoral exposure to animal husbandry and veterinary rural development and judicial processes. Okay, that's really now expanding his... presently in his assignment of DG Shipping, an attempt is being made to leverage technology-based solutions to computerize end-to-end the workflow process of the Director General of Shipping and the examination reforms for compliance with International Convention of Standards on standards of training, certification and watchkeeping for seafarers, which is the STCW. May I add my own little observation, sir? Sir, we really appreciate the very attentive hearing you give, quite universally, I think, to all ideas and suggestions, thus making sure that no innovative opportunity is overlooked in the development of Indian shipping. An admirable quality indeed, which I think we should all applaud. Please. Thank you. After that, I have a request. On behalf of the Maritime Trainers Guild, may I take the liberty of offering our services as a consultative body for all matters related to maritime training and education in India. By leveraging the expertise and insights of MTG members, the DGS can ensure that policies and regulations are informed by the practical experiences and best practices of industry professionals through this guild. So please feel free to reach out to MTG whenever you feel we can be of service. May I invite you, sir, to please come and deliver your address.
Namaskar. At the very outset, I extend my respects and greetings to all the members and office bearers of the Maritime Training Guild on their Foundation Day anniversary. It's been a journey which the President has listed out starting 2013, I believe, and now maturing. And I am grateful to Chadda Sahab that you have extended at least a consultative platform to the DG Shipping. And we look forward for all inputs because essentially all of you are experienced in the maritime domain. You all have a rich body of experience. And I firmly believe between all the diversive stands which do skill our seafarers, we need to evolve the best approach and to continuously learn and improve on the systems. The theme is quite relevant, and what I am attempting to present here is also an interesting check on myself having participated in the previous year's anniversary celebration. So 1 year hence, what DG Shipping envisages is what I would like to place before you, and thank you for the offer. Since the DGS also very recently came out with an advisory board where certain eminent persons who are stalwarts in the maritime domain are also members, and I will take you up on that offer of also sounding out the Maritime Trainers Guild. This is a brief on the responsibility that is bestowed upon the statutory office of the Director General of Shipping. So there are just 4 specifics. It's the creation and enforcement of a national standard, and this is in partnership with the Central University, the Indian Maritime University. Regulation of the Maritime Training Institutes as per the STCW Convention and the DGS circulars that emanate thereof, with a sizable element of localization. Certification of the seafarers and accreditation are certification and licensing for the recruitment agencies. Of course, this is basically with the specific emphasis on maritime education and skilling. I have tried to show a snapshot. Those red dots essentially show you where the spread geographically is. So you have 77 pre-sea maritime training institutes, 68 private, 9 universities and post-sea training institutes. A broad snapshot of the intake capacity, the utilization percentage, etc. Now if you're looking at the global trade and what we envisage for Indian mercantile marine. So if you look at the dry bulk segment, it's close to around 43%. Crude tankers is close to around 30%. And then you have the liner trade, which cumulatively with the Ro-Ro, other passenger segments, reefers and the container liners totals to around 24%. Now this is how, given the transitions you will have in technology, we would have to plan our training and manning policies. This again is the instant snapshot of how the global shipping firmament looks. 30 shipping companies contribute about 84% of the global liner fleet. And 4 shipping companies have 60% of that share. So if you're looking at the recruitment and the placement possibilities, you will understand that there are standards which need to be met, and you need to have a value case as to why an Indian seafarer gives you more value for money than perhaps some other nationality. This is looking at the projections in terms of the demand for officers and ratings. And based on this projection is where DG Shipping, along with all the maritime training institutions, in a partnership, is looking at addressing the strategy. The Maritime India Vision states this emphatically. It says from the existing close to around 12%, we need to go by 2030 to 20% of the global fleet. Meaning out of every 5 seafarers, we would have 1 Indian seafarer. Now looking at the base growth from 2017 onwards, the trajectory is favorable. You had 83% increase in the numbers, and that's what the graph talks about. The dip in the COVID years is essentially more from the cruise segment, and it is this growth curve that we will have to further steepen so as to not just achieve the MIV key performance indicators but perhaps exceed them. This again is just a global snapshot, and I am offering a disclaimer. This isn't an in-depth analysis. It is broad projections of what would be needed in these maritime economies in terms of manpower requirements. These are the 4 strategies that have been identified in the Maritime India Vision document, and these are going to be built upon. And what I would intend to leverage today is give a window to all the elements in that training strategy in the Directorate General of Shipping. So if you look at the bottom of the slide, the first part in the approach is essentially before you come down to a maritime training institution. So it is pre-maritime training institution zone. The second, essentially, you have to read it from bottom up, is at the Maritime Training Institute. So it's essentially pre-sea. Once you're already on to your sea service, then we look at the post-sea. Also at the same thing as a Maritime Training Institute, because it is continuous learning and continuous certification. Once you are signed on board, the entire scenario while you are on board and while you are an active seafarer, and meeting the theme of today, disruptive changes in maritime education and training, we're looking at what changes at least are anticipated from the context of the Directorate General of Shipping. The first thing we are envisaging is a single merchant navy entrance examination. There are major pain points here. The IMU CET has been a platform that has been going on for the last 2 to 3 years and is stabilizing. But these are the changes we intend to do, and here is where all of you also, whether you are affiliated with the IMU or a non-affiliated state university affiliated or a private university affiliated institution, as a DG approved institution, we work towards consensus for a single Indian Merchant Navy entrance exam. It should be conducted by an independent, impartial agency. The application, enrollment, hall ticket, results, all are similar to what is done in the joint entrance examination which is conducted for the IITs, the NITs and the IIITs. The seat allocation needs to be completely online. So you populate all the maritime institutes, affiliated, non-affiliated, and you have a transparent mechanism just as you have it for the IITs. If you clear the JEE Advanced, you can apply for the IITs. You don't clear the Advanced, you still are applicable for the NITs or the IIITs. And based on your main score, you can also go and take admission for the AICTE approved courses in private universities too. A similar kind of methodology has to be evolved. It will take time to build consensus and then host the platform. And as I mentioned, it should ubiquitously cover all universal institutions, completely transparent, professional, and it should be benchmarked. The one advice I would want the guild to get back to us with, and also all of the members, is there are multiple schools of thought on this. Some major companies do a pre-enrollment psychological test. Others don't. Now, should this be a benchmark? Should it not be a benchmark? There have been proposals which have been mooted where You have innovative solutions such as dermatoglyphics. You read your fingerprints and try to find out about how you have marked personality traits. So we're working with the NIM hands and hoping to evolve a platform there. The second again is relating to before you enter into a maritime training institute. So there is extensive social media campaign. The DG Shipping is going to get into this a big way because we will gravitate in the next 6 to 8 months from our existent website to a substantially improved platform which will be used with the social media engagement. If you would have noticed, the only engagement we have now is on the Twitter handle that we have. But over the past 4 months, we have managed to reach close to 30,000 followers on the Twitter handle, a Facebook, Instagram, and a 360-degree spectrum social media engagement with promotional videos, projecting Merchant Navy as an ideal career, where messages from all of the eminent seniors would be there, motivating the younger generation to look at this with pride and to take it on as a challenging career. We intend to physically also target class 8th, 9th, 10th for basically the Capture Them Young program. This has to be an institutionalized program where I think maritime training institutes can help us, where you come on board such programs talking to young boys and girls and telling them how good a career it has been for each one of you, the challenges, the opportunities. We're looking at counseling camps. Just as the MTG has been going and doing your meetings at Delhi or at Calcutta, a similar kind of a locational reach out physically, perhaps in partnership with the state maritime boards, because we haven't done this before, are doing it through a proper platform where we go ahead and reiterate this. International partnerships and training, I'll speak about this at the last part of the presentation, and I'm also forewarning you, it is going to be slightly longish. Give me around 20-25 minutes, please. And I would appreciate if the MTG gives us, just as the white paper on AI and ML in maritime training, a feedback on what has been presented today. The 360-degree maritime domain engagement in careers is, just as CMMI initiated a course yesterday with IIM Mumbai, which was an EMBA in logistics. Similarly, I just tried to put in some careers like pilots, maritime administration, port administrators, terminal managers, maritime lawyers, insurers, trainers, ship lease agents, logistics provider, naval architects, surveyors. So the whole 360-degree spectrum, not just limiting it to only maritime core training on the SDG. Scholarships is another thing. You are aware that the Maritime Training Trust is doing close to around 7.5 crores in the terms of 1 lakh rupees per girl child who is joining a maritime course. So that is something again pre-MTI. Now I come down to what we are attempting to do per se with the maritime training institutions. The first change that I institutionally wanted to inform within the DG Shipping is that we have notified a STCW compliance board. Now the point out here I'm trying to make is, institutionally DG Shipping is being made into a consultative, transparent, rule-bound, compliance-bound, technology-driven, and a clear and unambiguous decision timeline-based mechanism. The STCW compliance board meets on the second Thursday and the fourth Thursday of every month. We are already into the 32nd or 33rd meeting of the compliance board. All matters relating to MTIs, primary, preliminary approvals, increase in the batch sizes, additional courses, all of these essentially come down to this forum. So this ensures from the jurisdictional principal officer onwards, complete transparency, because each MTI, our stakeholder, is also given equal opportunity to present on this online platform. Our training manual was done by one of my eminent predecessors, who is now the Honorable Vice Chancellor of IMU, Dr. Malini Shankar ma'am. Post that, one issue with the training manual was the non-mapping to the DGS training circulars. We are intending to do that with a complete revision of the training manuals. It should be ready by September end, but it will be a consultative draft, and we will then circulate it for views, inputs for at least a period of 45 days. So perhaps by mid of November we should be able to notify it. This would have two interesting versions. It's 4 volumes, but online it would have a cross-indexed version, which basically is hyperlinked so that it takes you straight to the concerned circular. Plus, the last part is a training helpline and support system. You are not able to comprehend a particular part in the circular. You can reach out to a support system in DG Shipping, which the DDG training records on a regular basis and gives you first-hand advice by way of video conferencing. So you really do not have to come all the way, sit, or make repeated visits. I was told many soles of many shoes were basically so I wouldn't say, the less said the better. We are also looking at an revised Maritime Training Institute e-governance platform. The present one, when it was commissioned around 2019-20, was futuristic, but it has limitations on the technology stack. So we're looking at a web-based work process flow, simple and efficient, and it's end-to-end. All processes for the Maritime Training Institute minus human intervention. You have the compliance board where you come and talk, not one particular individual who can influence the course of action. These are all mapped to timelines. Every activity, an application for a new institute has a particular timeline. Application for an additional batch has a particular timeline, and those will be notified. Now the disruption here is, since accountability is coming on to the DG Shipping, it also is coming on in terms of the CIP being done regularly and the rankings being done, and detailed folders on maritime institutes being populated onto the DG website, so that aspirants who are seeking admission, etc., are aware of what exactly is happening. And as I mentioned, extensive illustrated explanations on DG Shipping circulars. If you actually look at the DGS circulars, there are multiple videos on the YouTube explaining the circulars, but none of them are DG Shipping officials. So you have a proprietary interpretation of the circular by a non-authorized person, all done in good faith, but if you get it from the horse's mouth and it is certified that this is a DG authorized explanation and interpretation of a particular circular, so we would be putting out these extensive video support systems, which will be done by the Deputy Director General Training himself. And the online pipeline will essentially have a FIFO principle, which is first in, first out. So there is no jumping the line, and if there is a jumping of the line, it needs to be explained as to why the exception was created on the system. This Charter of Services is essentially like a citizen's charter, but it's meant for the Maritime Training Institutes. It's openly notified, publishes timelines for all processes. Delayed proposals, which basically need to be kept on fast track mechanism. As I said, if a proposal has been delayed over a particular, I have instances of applications for preliminary approval pending for as much a timeline as 2000 days on the worst case scenario. So we're trying to bring it down to a 90-day limit where all aspects related to a preliminary approval for a Maritime Institute gets resolved. We basically, any denial of any permissions is going to be made very explanatory and a self-speaking kind of a communication, mapping it to what was the statutory requirement or the specific DGS circular to which a non-compliance was there, so that there is no ambiguity left. This again is something we need to work very hard on. I think MTG, this is something right up your core concern area, which is faculty development program. The quality of faculty in certain training institutes with the faculty load matrix and the continuous learning and the incentivization of them to continuously learn. Because certain MTIs, if you look at the remuneration, neither is the DG shipping getting into the fees that is being charged by the MTIs, nor is basically the DG shipping looking at what salaries you are paying to the faculty. But not getting into that and allowing an institution to take its own decisions thereof, which are management linked, should essentially comply with no dilutions in the quality part. So one support we are intending to do is, again, as Captain Chadda has mentioned, leverage technology. We have a learning management system, and what was mentioned as MOOC eventually would be a self-assessment MOOC for whoever is there. If it's faculty, faculty, if it's cadets, cadets. If it is a trainee who is looking for a further certification of competency, it will all be populated onto this proposed learning management system with deep learning. This is what I was talking about. So we're looking at STCW, STCW Plus and deep learning and curated and standardized teaching. Say you have someone of repute who is an expert in that particular area. We commission a specific course curated only for Indian Maritime, put it onto the LMS. It's available for everybody and at no cost. We need to work towards that. As I mentioned, MTI's ranking systems, the comprehensive inspection program, in terms of quality, infrastructure, we will assist with a master plan, because all this is going to go online on the DG's portal. Your faculty, learning aids, the labs, workshops all get populated in terms of the assessment being done by the surveyor or by the RO for the relevant maritime training institution. Now these are modules. This is a life skill module which we are working hard on. In fact, we have requested NUSI, because with the ratings, NUSI is stepped ahead and said they will do this. So I have basically said that they can bring a loose structure to it, and then it will again as a draft module go around and then be structured for ubiquitous value dispensation to all the trainees, ratings officers alike. The idea here is I have spoken about this ab initio, the 10 components of well-being, and it applies to a mariner as well as to a non-mariner like me. So it's social, physical, environmental, medical and dental. I mean, you can't sit here patiently if you've got a severe toothache. So that is a precondition for your wellness or well-being. Nutritional, I think you'll all be looking forward for a good nutritional lunch. Marex is taking care of the lunch. So spiritual again is, what values do you espouse? How do you feel towards your colleagues? Is there hostility? Is there understated current? Then psychological and emotional, as I mentioned. Behavioral and intellectual. Most of the leading thoughts coming on to manning of vessels, OCIM, Intertanko, are focusing on behavioral competencies. Your SIRE as a platform, OVID as a platform for certifications and inspections also has a sizable element on the behavioral aspect of how the manpower is manning the vessel. We intend to incorporate that in this module too. Occupational and financial. Financial as in somebody shouldn't just choose the maritime carrier for a quick buck. You put it into the wheel of wellness. I have taken this from the Anglo-Eastern training material. They already have a curated, structured well-being framework which is taught to the Anglo-Eastern intake trainees. So, meaning, not just Anglo-Eastern, we curate this, standardize this, make it available for the entire Indian maritime training firmament, it should distinctly be visible when an Indian seafarer goes on board. His calmness, his resoluteness, his dependability, his integrity, and his professionalism is of a different level vis-a-vis others. And that is where you have a value pitch in the maritime domain. As I mentioned, NUSI is basically, although they have agreed, we are working on this, and then it will get into the consultative mode where I will request MTG to help us out. This essentially was the gender parity part, where we named it Sagar Mein Samman. So I spoke about it also in the Maritime Day for Women, International Maritime Day for Women. Includes a zero tolerance framework, the diversity, equity and inclusion framework, model code of conduct for a seafarer. It is gender neutral, a male seafarer or a female seafarer. What's the ideal code of conduct on board and also offshore, onshore? We intend to standardize this as a training module, and we'll need your inputs on this when we validate it as we move into the consultative phase. It's a 5-pronged strategy. I have spoken about this. It's a gender inclusive future for Indian maritime. Zero tolerance is ab initio, what basically is done. A lot of international companies, just as we'll also touch upon issues like the zero alcohol policy, Merck's already has the zero tolerance policy. A gender sensitization module, and this is more with levels of what you have as preconceived notions and cultural internalization in terms of prejudices in the male counterpart. It's not the lady seafarer more of a concern, it is the, because then you lead and nudge maritime training institutes as to providing both a push and pull factor for more women in maritime, and you engage with the manning agencies as well as with the ship management firms. You create a pull and push, as I mentioned. This is something, one of your members of the guild is essentially world leader in simulation and all, ARI, Naomi ma'am and Shravanji. We will be trying this out because STCW tables already say it's a possibility, it's already under revision, so this needs to be, but as I mentioned, it's not simulator dedicated, it is web-based. So web-based makes you remove the initial capital investment, and this needs to basically be done on a platform which essentially can be cloud hosted. It's a possibility, and we will try to basically incorporate this as we go along. You're already looking at disruptive technologies as the theme today, so AI and virtual reality. Now this is something we want to work on. There is a video, I do not know whether I should show this, but yeah, I mean probably if you, it has an audio also, but we need to do several such videos. So we're looking at a safety and awareness portal. I have spoken about this. The concept is Suraksha Sarva Pratham Hamesha. You bring in animated videos which show that kind of a thing. So
the ship's railed during a mooring operation. The weight on the rope could not be released quickly enough, and he was flipped over the handrail and impaled on a forklift. Anchor shackles, especially joining shackles, have failed, resulting in loss of anchor. A combination of non-compliances led to the collision.
the idea basically here is you use animation as a low-cost sort of a visual sort of a reminder to the trainee. Most of those videos have, if you see the person impaled on a forklift, it's not necessary that he falls off a vessel and gets impaled on a forklift. The goriness is there to reiterate how risky it could be for life and limb if you are not safety conscious. This is something again we are trying to work on. CMMI and IMEI, Captain Basin had initiated this. I believe they are in discussion with the IMU. I will be supplementing this. Historically, these are photographs I got from Captain Basin, and these show Merchant Navy cadets with our former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi ji, with former President B.B. Giri ji. So it happened then. Why is it not happening now? So the Rajdhani Republic Day camp is, you create a sense of pride in the Merchant Navy cadets who participate at the highest ceremony, the Republic Day, and that then has an amplification, ramification that yes, I belong in the Air Force, I am in the Navy, and I am in the Merchant Navy. We also going to run multiple reiterations on your maritime traditions. I mean, many of us would remember Anna Malhotra ma'am. The JNPA is what it is today with just one personality starting and linking the entire thing together. Vadhva is happening as a reality by leveraging natural deep harbor area on what happened with JNPA, which eventually grew into the busiest container terminal on the western coast of India. Mr. C.P. Srivastav needs no introduction. 16 years he was the Secretary General in the IMO. That's the tradition to which we belong. Each one of you belongs to that tradition, and that is what needs to be told when a cadet steps in fresh at a pre-C or a post-C institute, when he's coming back also signing off, that this is the tradition you need to come through to. And it's much deeper than that. It goes back to the Indus Valley, Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, Lothal. I believe you would be aware there's a national project coming up. This is a concept I have been mooting, a National Maritime Games. I mean, thankfully, Manu Bhakkar doing what she did with these 2 medals. Yesterday was interesting conversation because Captain Tyagi was there in this program which we were having for launching the IAM CMMI program, and he mentioned something that you will find mariners with a certain attitude. You wear a chip on the shoulder. That's what he basically meant. I am simply proposing that sports and excellence in physical competing structured formal events brings in that element of excellence within you, and that needs to be done. So you have an annual event where you do a northern zone, a southern zone, a western zone, and then a national event. This is something I would espouse sincerely. And of course, as I mentioned, all these things, if you look at a proper module which briefs the cadet before he is basically going on board, and it's a structured module on the learning management system. You can't teach a cadet what's going to happen in the Red Sea. MSc had this experience where there was a lady cadet who had signed on and then she was flown back only as one case, and then it's only very recently we got 7 other sign-offs from that vessel. So what's happening in the sector, a certain awareness needs to be there. And one annual event which is basically a conclave. Now please permit me to rush through because I think perhaps I have over-exceeded the time mandate. We don't have a permanent representative at the IMO. So you have a representative from the High Commission of India who unfortunately lacks domain depth. And these are amazingly difficult times in terms of transition. The next MEPC, you will have the market-based measures being frozen. 1.5 years hence, you will have the STCW revision. And you have a non-mariner representing you all through. So we need to build up a permanent domain representative there, and 2 senior professional officers and 3 junior professional officers. All this is at a cumulative of 3.5 to 4 crores. Sovereign responsibility, we are pushing very hard for this. I just mentioned this to everybody as a collective in the room. and try to bring in skill development where maritime training institutes have a particular fund they can go to when they are setting up infrastructure, etc. Maybe your sports infrastructure, maybe your lab, maybe your workshop, maybe your instrumentation, maybe your simulator. It doesn't exist as on date. This is the biggest thing that is happening now, and these are all post once you've entered, finish your course, and then CDAC has been approved by the secretary as recent as yesterday. So it's a 86 crore engagement, of which the first engagement is around 49 crore rupees. You will see a complete change in the conduct of the examinations 5 to 6 months hence in the MMDs. They will go digital, and those are the components that I put up there. We are also looking at this, which I am forewarning, because the circular 2020 exists for dynamic batch sizing. You're not able to sign on the number of people you have at the intake in the batch. Your next batch gets curtailed by those many numbers that you are not able to sign on. I mean, that's the harsh reality, and I believe one has to live with it. The RPSL module, you would have seen push and pull here and there, but we are also working on, just as the MTI module, the RPSL module also, with smart contracts, smarter inspections, smarter sign-ons, and quicker compliances will be happening. We have also come out with a CIP circular which was there in 2020. We'll be revising and giving you the revised circular soon. We came out with this very recent circular. It was an advisory plus basically a kind of hard stance on the surreptitious activity that was going. It is not to be read with reference to the people doing it the right way. There is a 5 to 8% people who are looking at, and it's the bad apple which basically unfortunately spoils the entire environment. We also came out with advisories to the seafarer, telling them they have a bounden duty and responsibility, and they also need to comply by specific practices in verifying whatever is there in terms of deceitful practices. A comprehensive grievance redressal, I spoke about this last year also. It's still a work in progress, largely because of the pace at which financial procurement in government moves. This is what it envisages. We are presently doing weekly reviews. We have a crisis management group, and it has met with reasonable success, and I think we should have the helpline and also the grievance redressal functional by perhaps November end or December. Seafarers' rights, we will be reiterating this ab initio. So you would soon have trained seafarers who would question the management, or basically on board the hierarchy on what their rightful dues are, and if they're not getting the rightful dues, they would know where to reach to. And that is where I mentioned it out in the yellow part. I would request MTG to kindly share the presentation. Seafarer welfare is a huge area. We've come out with a circular which basically talks about what should be the seafarers' welfare infrastructure at the ports. There is no specific parameter which is being assessed. So we are now onboarding ports onto a specific platform there. And some good news, other than the examination reform which we have awarded, we also have finally, after a 4.5-year struggle, been able to shortlist and award the contract for the e-Samudra, which is the DG Shipping's interface with all other citizen to government, government to government, and also business to government. That will be in the works for around 14 months because it's multiple modules, around 46 modules, and should be commissioned probably 1.5 years hence. This was something we need to pitch for, not the Mumbai Convention or the Delhi Convention, but the India Convention. So if we are able to pull it off, it is a big activity. We are also working on chapter-wise committees and putting up papers and all, but I would request all of you to build up that consensus and pressure at the right quarters higher up so that we are able to do this and project India in its rightful due. This is what I had talked about was international cooperation. I just fleetingly touched upon it yesterday. This is being furthered by the DG Shipping in the Ministry of Port Shipping and Waterways. It's on the BIMSTEC cooperation platform, regional international cooperation initially. These are the benefits. You see sustainable practices, it's actually sustainable maritime transport and a deep dive, because Lloyd's Registry is doing the DPR on this and it intends to convert, hypothetically now, the location is the MTI Powai. And of course, a soft existence with the Maritime Knowledge Cluster, which also has been awarded by DG Shipping. So these will be the benefits. And that's how it will then subsequently evolve into linking up the maritime training cooperation centers globally under the IMO. Thank you so much for a very patient listening, and I would look for feedback.
Thank you so much, sir. That information that we saw over here is really remarkable, and we can see the things happening at the Director General of Shipping which we probably haven't seen before. Let's go on to our speaker, please, Mr. Rabindra Saha. His topic is AI in Maritime Education and Training. Mr. Saha is currently working as Chief Technology Officer at the Indian Register of Shipping, Mumbai. He has worked 32 years as Chief Engineer with Tata Technologies and Tata Motors in the field of digital product development systems, engineering research and design, and end-to-end manufacturing, that is digital to physical. A graduate from the National Institute of Technology, NIT Patna in BTech, he holds a master's degree in data science and engineering from BITS Pilani, an industry leader and veteran who has worked for more than 150 customers worldwide. He is a certified and authorized Unreal Engine trainer. It's the first time I'm hearing that. Unreal, is that expression right? Or have I got the spelling wrong or something? Yeah, I'm right. Okay. Unreal Engine trainer by Epic Games. He develops games, augmented and virtual reality, virtual production, design visualization across sectors using Unreal Engine and Unity. Played important roles in digital transformation using solutions of Dassault Systems, Siemens, Altair, MSc, Nastran, Dform 2D, 3D, PTC, Euclid, Autodesk, Unity, Unreal Engine, and Exceljo in the industry. So let's welcome Mr. Saha, and let's hear more about all these expressions that we've never heard of before. Please, Mr. Saha, give him a big hand, please.
Good morning, everyone. May I request everyone to, if you can take your seats, then I can start my presentation. I take your permission to start it, right? So good morning, everyone. It's very difficult to such a wonderful presentation, after so much a wonderful presentation, for me to present. Sir, it was a very comprehensive presentation, very, very comprehensive. Very rare to see such kind of presentation. You spoke about problem statement, you spoke about challenges, and you spoke about the opportunity for the growth. Thank you so much. the most important part is that your presentation talks about NEP, real implementation. You spoke about in one of the slides, it's very, very important. You are taking this maritime at the school level and making people aware about what is maritime. That's very, very important to anyone who's working and build his career in maritime is very, very important. Thank you so much, sir. I've just noted from the previous speakers some of the very, very important point. We spoke about excellence, we spoke about the quality, we spoke about the innovative as a part of the, when we build the kind of skill and the growth in this sector. Also, we spoke about future skilling, knowledge sharing. Knowledge sharing is very, very important. Whatever we learn, you should go about. Then we spoke about competency mapping. It's very, very rare people spoke about, because what level we are at competency and how, what is the growth we target. Say C3 to the C4 or C5 is very, very important. So whatever current as is competence is very, very important to map it. And most important, how effective is the training? That measurement is always very, very difficult. I've been working with IIT Madras to really build some virtual reality content to how effectiveness of the training can be built. And LinkedIn is very, very important, social media, where a lot of posts are coming, awareness is coming from DPHC. I request everyone to follow that. I follow it, I learn from there. Coming back to me, I'm Rabindra Saab. I have joined as a CTO of Indian Register of Shipping, Mumbai. I'm here, I've come with today I is completing my 32 years of my professional career, which I started. I started my career with the Tata. And when I joined there, the digital is not new for me, right? When we joined 32 years back, I started, and we started the digital technology at that time. We faced a lot of challenges, lot of resistance, and that resistance we call the organizational change management. It's very, very important. Next slide, I'm going to talk about how that can be eliminated. But end of the day, you see the digital transformation has happened. In other sector, in my 32 years, I've transformed the technology across the sector from top to the ground level reality. And you can see the reflection of some of them will come ahead. And I'm very fortunate to work, name the technology, whether the engineering, software, technology, or all levers of Industry 4.0, I'm very fortunate to work with all my hands and deploying at the ground level. So I come with that background. When we speak about Indian Register of Shipping, I'm very fortunate to be working with the Indian Register of Shipping. To share with you, we have taken a very great step on digitalization. And many new technology initiatives have taken. I'm driving that across India and across our IRS team. And we are setting the vision. And I'm making the 9 pillars vision. And that 9 pillars to bring the reality. And the most important thing that our executive chairman has given me primarily the 3 key responsibilities. He has said the 3 vision. And that is the reflection of, sir, what you presented just now, and all other our speakers spoke about. We are working for a vision of 2040. How technology will enable us to stay ahead of the times. Vision 2040, stay ahead of the times with the competition. Then only we can, as India, as a country, can go to the global, which is the government speaks about. And the third point, which vision is been said by our executive chairman, is build the man for tomorrow, right? So man for the tomorrow. So whatever initiatives we have taken in IRS, you can see the people who joined last year as an engineer from the top manager, all are the part of the digital technology initiative. If you do not do that, then lowest most people, because from there we get a lot of knowledge, not of creativity, the highest as an experience. So mix up the team and cross-functional team has been built. I'm happy to share that just few days back, we have boarded 100 people of 9 pillars of the technology initiative on our partners' website, where we are adopting the technology of Dassault system. And there's a community platform where everyone can share, talk, communicate, and inspire others. And we review and monitor on that. Many more big things to come in the times to come. Having said that, I will say one more important thing, which will reflect in the next slide. I have written here the 3D for all. Kindly note that if you want to work in the technology stuff, 3D is the base for each and everything, whatever we do. Is where we start with the design, to the construction, entire product life cycle management. The 3D has to be base. We have to do away with the 2D drawings and etc. That's to be very, very important to be noted here. Because that will enable the entire product life cycle of the product, which I'm going to talk about it. Yes, just to share it, during the COVID till now, I'm very fortunate on individual capacity and the company capacity. I have shared knowledge to, sir, 17,000 people of our country, 17,000 people of country, more than 100 institutes, that includes our IITs also. So that way I'm sharing the knowledge, because knowledge from the seniors to must go to the down the people, and I've changed their lot of curriculum to what technology is needed. You spoke about, sir, a new education policy. I picked up 3 points from the new education. This is a 64-page document. The important thing which you speak about is that experiential learning, learning by doing, not theoretical. Learn about the theoretical, but experiential learning is very, very important. Second point is the critical thinking has to be built. Critical thinking has to be built. The most of the word which is repeated in the NEP is 64 times. There is only one word, is multidisciplinary. 64 times it has come into the NEP. It is not about one domain. It is not about the mechanical or mechanical. It has to be the collaboration of all other departments. So if a person I'm working, it has to be the multidisciplinary. Any project we work, multidisciplinary is very, very important. Having said that, so this decade is decade for the maritime. This decade is the maritime. Decade of opportunity. Decade of circular economy. Decade of passion you need to build. Each and everyone you need to create the passion. The way I see DG Shipping sir spoke about, you have created the passionate about everyone. Decade of human experience, decade of social collaboration, humanity, value demonstration, and metaverse. Sir, you were speaking about that. Metaverse gives the human experience, how we learn, execute, and measure the effectiveness. So there is one of the Unreal Engine spoke about that plays a very, very important role. Lifelong learning. Still I learned it. Yesterday I was in the Bangalore and doing a session. I traveled whole night and landed here to take this session. So it has to be the lifelong learning. We can learn from our driver to the top of the leaders. And we need to observe and learn. That's what I do. That's why I learn and deliver. That's my passion. Decade of new learning, domain, skill, re-skill. And it's very important. Something we need to learn. It's very, very important. Because if we come with same mindset, it's very, very difficult to learn. That's why the change management in the organization is very, very difficult. So the last point is very important, learn, unlearn, and lead learn. Having said that, so if you see the maritime product life cycle, so requirement is the concept, design, detail, construction, operations, and escaping. So if this is, I put a representative, each and every step, technology is going to play important role to solve the problem. And because just sake of adopting the technology is not going to help. We need to solve the problem with adopting the right technology of adoption, which I'm going to talk about. And for all this, 3D is must. 3D geometry is the must. Why it is must, we'll come to know in some of the slides. Though I have prepared for the 15 minutes, but I love to share the entire thing in the 60 minutes. Why AI in maritime? Why in maritime? Education and training. And everyone's previous speaker spoke about is that enhanced safety of cargo ship and human life. Human life. Everything we are talking about Industry 5.0 is all about human-centric. All human-centric. Because human is our asset. That is the PLR. That is our IPR which built our country, right? It's very, very important. Improve route planning, energy, operational efficiency, transit. These are all we know about it. Now let me talk. I have put some challenges, though it's very comprehensively captured by sir, but I put in something point which my study. Everyone wants with there is some customer, with our internal customer or external customer, it has to be faster time to market. How we can do it. If I'm doing it the X time, how we can do the 0.8X time. That's the way all opportunity cost time saving comes, right? That's the one challenge. 2D based classification and approval. Still the class does the 2D based classification. It's very, very challenging, right? It's very, very challenging. How we need to, from the 2D to the 3D, that's what IR is coming forward to digitalization, right? Equipped with the latest technology for the alternate fuels. Alternate fuels can be solved with the latest technology also. I'm going to touch about that. I'm just put only one slide. Long lead time for ship design and development. We need to see very comprehensive view. And where the skill gap is there, I'm going to talk about. Regulatory compliance, interdisciplinary coordination, time and cost pressure, skill shortages, sustainability, all everything is run. And then that is the higher efficiency and productivity is very, very important. But these challenges, how to come? Skill gap, shortages, everyone is talking about, right? So all these challenges has to be mapped with the technology, how technology is going to solve those challenges. So traditional way courses have gaps, especially in keeping up with the rapid changes in the time, international shipping regulation and maritime technology. It's a very, very important point to know. And we have a solution. We have to really adopt, make the necessary changes, correction, as Sir spoke about this, and we can surely achieve. And I have seen in the 30 years of my journey. This is a very three important pillar. It's very, very. Industry means our customer, internal customer also. Academia and student, and overall is the government. Policy, rules, guidance, and support. That makes our four pillars. I have just captured only 8 points I'm going to talk about, and then last I will summarize. I will be a little fast on that, but we can have a later discussion. I love to support and guide you. This is a very, very important slide I have prepared especially that talks about everything. 3 circles learning Venn diagram, right? Let's see this. I'll just pause for a few seconds, just so then I'll explain it. So let's talk about the first circle, top one. Is the core, is the maritime core domain, subject. That is the base for building any technology. Will not come to until the first circle is done. So it is a subject matter express, knowledge-based engineering. I'm referring knowledge. What is knowledge-based engineering? Because if I'm a senior, I'm a 60, 70 or someone old, that knowledge has to be captured. Build application, because if it goes, that knowledge goes. So we need to focus on capturing the knowledge, building an application so that remain with our country. But overall, the first circle is all engineering we talk about. All kind of engineering we talk about. It's very, very important. First circle. Come to the left-hand side, the second circle. I'm talking about digital technology. Digital engineering technology is very, very important across the life cycle of the ship, operation to the design to the sustainability we speak about. And this technology, if we adopt it, faster time to market. We can do whatever we want to do faster, quicker. And my experience is that 25% reduction is happen instantly if you adopt the right thing at the right way and the right method. Right hand side, the third circle is the Industry 4.0. Is the all bundle of technology which includes the AI. When you talk Industry 4, is the IoT based additive manufacturing, virtual reality. You talk about AI, big data. All are the bundle of that. So that is the lever. So what it does is the operational excellence. If you adopt that, our top line and bottom line will go up. I will achieve the better efficiency of that. So when we see all these 3 circles, we need to superimpose this Venn diagram to build more pie inside. This has to be more pie. So it has to go. So adoption from the 1 and 2 to increase more and more time and cost and skill building. If you second the first and third, that has to. But all these 3 circles has to. That is what everyone, each one has to focus. It can be for organization initiative. It can be with the individual company. It can be for the individual also. I'm going to talk about the list. But with the bigger circle is that all in the ground of the innovation. Innovation has to be there. Development, electrolytic problem solving, product development, which I have taken that. But there at the top left side, I have written 3 things. How to adopt it? I'm going to talk more than one slide. Training and awareness is very, very important. I see that a lot of gap. We are not aware. That's why please get connected with the networking. Post whatever. If you go my website, LinkedIn, I share so many things, make people aware. So whatever small thing we do, please share with the community. Then proof of concept, get training, do a small proof of concept. Proof of concept is very, very important. Proof of concept means hands-on. I cannot talk only theoretical, I need to hand my dirty, then only I can because. So proof of concept, maybe the period of 3 to 6 months we should do it, and adoption, faster adoption within an organization and for the country. That's what he's saying about it. Let's move to audit. Yeah, in maritime education, there are many, but I picked up 8 only to just quick about. Everyone speak about is the virtual reality powered by AI. Powered by, I myself is a developer. In my free time, I develop a lot of things. And sir spoke about Unreal Engine. In India, I am among the 1 out of 50 who are trained to give this kind of visualization. Your training content creation with animated effectiveness measurement is a tool which is adopted. So each of us has to take us today one step that when you go that, how we can adopt it. No need to go the physically. Someone pointed out the safety. Sir, you spoke about that. No need to go physically. Just be with IIT, I help that. With your fire brigade. And that physical and the virtual with AI driven, it will give you the trend. The physical, real type of things needs to be done. So we can save the time. And all new joinees to be the part of that. That's what we were talking about. This is what is example. Design ergonomics. Ergonomics is very, very important when we do the kind of maintenance and etc. So these are the whole lot of things are done. I mean, you can through the walkthrough of the product is very, very important. If you are giving the training on the product, all his equipment and machinery, just walk through it. Space concern. We see that nowadays we face that ergonomics assessment is also very, very important. We can walk through, I go to your switchboard, I'm able to access and etc. So this is the right things which collaboratively we can do. Not only a single person, multiple people can do it. So this is what is the very important. And this is not for new. We have doing this for the last 25 years. But spread across. At that time when we started my career, one equipment was costing 5 crores. And now it is just few lakhs. Few lakhs we can do it, right? Safe construction is very, very important. So construction training, building up the construction, physical and digital, we can overall see how the construction of the ship is being done and how we can exploit, how we can train that. Just some touching about it, but we can go ahead. Ship personal training, I spoke about how the server is going to inspect, how the inspection is that. And this you can see that he has got the gadget on the mount. And you can see he is selecting that how to do, and he will effectiveness measure, and he will have 10 parameters to check in and assess it. He will say, you are doing it rightly or not, or retake the entire thing, right? So this is the way content is built. So this is this is one of the aspect, like personal productivity equipment, inspection, surveying, training, all we need to do. We make sure that this is, maintenance is very, very important, right? Now, I'm talking about the third point. Now, this is, everyone speak about, this is the ship simulator. This is ship simulator. One is that there's a product we adopt it, right? And we use it. But we can be the also product developer because as a country, we need to develop product also for ourselves, for our people at the institute. And this kind of simulator, if you see this simulator has got a different scenario of the environment, rainy, dark scene, and you can experience it and you can simulate it. All kinds of scenario can be built inside. This is the one example, and then can be done the different stages of the product life cycle management. And I've been traveling the whole world for the technology, a lot of things with my work, right? And all learning I come and bring and share with the people. And this is what is the adoption needs to be done. Not only to buy the product, institute needs to develop such kind of product, Now let me see. It's very interesting, this fourth point. Ship auto decking is very small part, right? I just visited in January and it's a very one of the top consumer electronics exhibition. I request each of us, if we get opportunity to visit that, how the world drives the technology across the sector is clearly demonstrated there, across the sector. So I just picked up, I visited one of the ship yard who built the product. They are doing a lot of work on sustainability also. You see this. This is a ship docking where AI is playing the role. So you are doing the simulation of the ship And at certain stages, navigate the entire environment
Auto dock for me right here.
with the AI, and it decides that
And so
which dock is
this
open,
boat can auto
and it
dock. So
automatically goes
docking is
and
the most
parks it,
difficult
right?
part of the boating experience, if you ask me. I work for a boating company and I'm no good at docking. So what it's going to do is it's going to make its way to the center of the marina. It's going to use our stereo vision camera to scan the environment and look for any open slips. Ones are open, go ahead.
C1 and that
Yep. And then go ahead and auto dock. And then you have
picked
to
up,
select
it will go
orientation
and
because you can go front end or back end. The bow end is a better view. So one of the things that people ask me about this technology is it actually smart or is it just going down a path and it's going to run into whatever's in its way? So here we've got a boat. The auto docking capability will be available for sale in 2025.
So this kind of product and training we can do it. And sir, you spoke about that Unreal Engine. So this is built on the technology behind that, with a lot of controls is built right. It is not a great thing, sir. If some people work with our kind of IPR in India and we can build ourselves, maybe somebody might have developed this, right? Autonomous shipping, right, is very important. I'm not going to the details. The only summary that if you see this vertical chart, I have worked for the multiple types of autonomous product development for the automotive area. I've developed, drive, and implemented in India and abroad, building and the technology. If you see this, what we do is the perception. What we see, how the perception to be replaced with the sensor, right? What? And when we see with the sensors, we collect the data. And how the data, with the algorithm, with AI, we fuse it to enable the decision making is the sensor fusion, where AI is going to play a role, right? And then planning, route, and the control to go at that. So this is the great opportunity to where AI is playing the role, and each one of us at the institute or any professional member, we should learn about it and adopt it. It's not very good, just this is time you need to spend. I'm going to put one slide towards the end. Point 5, yes. Sir spoke about the sustainability, spoke about the operational efficiency. And operational efficiency is not only at the one element of the fuel consumption or the navigation, etc., entire life cycle of the product. But we have also taken initiative how the equipment life cycle, predictive maintenance, our health monitoring, sustainability, which can be adopted with the technology AI based. And here is very important. Sustainability is not limited to the only operational. Sustainability also linked with how we design the product. How to design product, each and everything is sustainable, recyclable, reusable. And then what manufacturing and operation we adopt said that we eliminate net carbon zero. That's what we as a country have signed this. And we have to see this entire holistic view to make it possible, right? And we are taking the initiative. Last is 6th point. Just today morning I put these slides. Logistics in the ship, the cargo, right, is very important. I have done a lot of purpose of our Indian port in the Odisha as well in the Gujarat. So this is a right skill set also required. How do the port operation digitally simulation, create all the processes, create all the part movement is happening and resources map with the time. And that becomes and run that model for 1 week or 1 day or half day and see that where is the congestion happening. What is that? And you vary the type of cargo coming, capacity of the carbon copy. So here vary it and see the impact. Then what we can do, digitally we can change and manage the things to, what is objective? Optimize the resources. And whatever we do then digitally, this is the power of digital. Do whatever you do in the digital and those are physical implementation. Then you start buying and deploying and etc. So this is very important and it's a very important tool to really adopt it. And I will encourage that training institute must to have this and they can have the lot of opportunity and opportunity for job across the port, right? And I have done for the Singapore also and Indian also customer and the United States. Coming to the 7th point, I put one slide, just 2-3 minutes, sir. So this is one slide. You name the technology in the worldwide is here. All technology. We have to pick the right technology in your context of your business and your training institute. Pick which is right. Not necessary to do all things. There are many repetitive. Pick which is relevant. Start from the designing, CAD designing, finite elements, construction, operation and flow. entire whole gambasit. I'm very lucky that almost 90% of the technology I have worked. So if anyone have any questions is that this is the design and development. This is what has happened. Here there's a great opportunity for the optimize the design, use the recycled material, because I see that every OEM, CEO of the OEM has the dashboard, how we can become the net zero, how we can implement the net, reach the net jargon, how we can sustainable product. This kind of visions every CEO has to have the target by 2030, 2040. This is going to have, the last slide is that data analytics against from the AI. We have got plenty of the data, we have got the big data, but how we get the insight from the data and in a structured way, that gives me the trend and for me to the action, where AI is going to play a role. Having said these 8 points, so here role of AI in maritime is very, very crucial, along with the other levers of the industry 4.0, driving competition, improved training method, enhanced environment. These are the break quick summary. So all stages of the product life cycle when starting to the AI is very, very important. I've just demonstrated. This is one slide. Just PSN for 10 seconds. We need to take a 90 principle of era of digital. One, digital thinking. How digital thinking will help my solving the problem. Digitally engage with the people. Digital design. Digitally validate. Digitally construct. Digitally innovate. Digitally accelerate and digital culture and services. This is 9 pillar. I'll share this slide. Please see that this becomes a banana. This, if we give the vision, our country will prosper, like Sir is speaking about, right? And we need to talk the walk, digital to be the walk the talk. Walk the talk and core and face of the any organization institute. 9 mantra. I'm just going to, but I wanted to focus on the 5th mantra, which is very, very important. T is implemented for everyone. Entry level, any profession, any level. What is T? If you see the horizontal is the 3-month duration. One vertical line is the skill. So pick the one skill, get awareness training, do the proof of concept, build one T in the period of 3 to 4. Then like this, build more Ts. That's what we can achieve the yes. This is a digital. It is not necessary we should know everything. But last jack of all trades, master in one. It is very, very important to know about it. If you know about it, then you can adopt it and ask people to adopt it and they can excel. So this is T is very, very important. So we need to build the T. I built that AI is how the adoption of AI should be happen. What level of data analysis, machine learning. I have specifically prepared this slide for the 2 days. How we need to have anyone the roadmap to adopt it. It's a very incomplete detailed one that let's talk about. So data analytics, machine learning, and AI. I will share this, then we can. We need to have this kind of vision. Every individual has to have this vision. If you see the word, हम 3 महीने में क्या सीख रहे हैं, 6 months में क्या skill है. So these are the skill we need to build. एक करके T build करना, we need to more build T. And this is my last slide. You can't expect to meet the challenge of today with the status tool and expect to be in business of tomorrow. So change is very, very important. Adoption of digital technology is very, very important. Thank you so much. This is my contact. We can get connected. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Very interesting presentation over there. And may I request the President to please come up, Captain Nigam, and give away our token of appreciation. We are running way behind time. May I request our Director General also to please come up, sir? Thank you. Hi, excuse me, you got off with my paper, I think. Ready for panel discussion. The first panel discussion is called Developing the Future Ready Curriculum. May I invite Professor Captain Sundaresan Kishore to please come up. Captain Kishore's career spans 48 plus years, primarily in the maritime sector, education and technology. As extra master, he has served in various roles including educator, auditor, and corporate leader. His contributions to maritime education are significant, including co-founding OERC. As part of his career, Kishore led the team which pioneered e-learning in the maritime sector with COC courses for SMA in Singapore. Retired in 2018. You retired? Okay. Retired in 2018 as MD of Kongsberg Digital in India. His journey reflects a dedication to learning, teaching, and leading in various capacities. He also has a philosophy of human potential and teamwork, supporting his life philosophy. Presently, he is serving as Professor of Practice at IMU since 2023. May I invite the panelists to please come up, and Captain Kishore will then introduce you. Very nice, thank you. The panelists, Captain Subhendu Hathi, Mr. Sunil Kumar, and Captain Ruchin C. Dayal. All yours, Captain Kishore.
Good afternoon, friends, fellow seafarers. Doesn't matter if you're sailed or not, all of you are seafarers, since we are in this profession. Should have started with a good morning, but you know, we are so close to Bombay Airport. Every one of us know that every single flight coming in and out of Bombay is getting delayed by an hour. We are just an hour and a half, doesn't matter. So it's not our mistake, it's Bombay Airport's mistake. So having said that, I'll try my best to try and truncate our panel to just a few nice discussion. Please, let me start by saying that the subject given to us is developing a future-ready curriculum. It's a tightrope walk, guys. Remember, on one side is the learner. The learner we have is typical Gen Z who doesn't have too much of attention span, as we all know. We keep talking about it. On the other side, we have the curriculum, which has to be governed by, say, has to be akin to what is said in STSW as it stands now. And we all know that conventions takes years and years and years before it changes. And it actually comes back as another change. Now, the other side, the dynamism of the curriculum itself, to keep in line, keep in times with technology, if I may say so, movement. Tremendous movement. Everybody has been using this word Industry 4.0 and the way things are moving extremely fast. In one part of the world, they already say that already the Industry 5.0 is coming. Part of the game. Two things go akin. Let me tell you, we are a day away from maritime sector into technology as early as 2001-2. One thing we know, the technology manufacturers, if I may say so, they sell technology to say that, hey, this technology can replace humans. But please remember that technology is made by humans for being used by humans. So let us understand that, let's learn to use the technology rather than let the technology use us. It's a first important point. I think we as learners, come trainers or teachers or academicians or faculty or whatever you want to call it, whatever fancy word, but whatever it is, remember that we have to use the technology and not allow technology to use us. That's number one. Number two, on the same lines, I would say that if it comes to the shipping world, the automation technology, the control technology, whatever the case may be, you have either aids to navigation, as they say, the navigational aids. They are what that is. It is an aid to navigation, should not really replace the navigator. Similarly, the power management system or cargo management system, whatever you may have, that is a decision support system It is to support decision making, not to replace the decision maker. On our side, on the training side, when you really look at the technology that comes into training, the augmented reality, virtual reality, you have these animation videos, you have actual videos, everything, it's got a fantastic wow factor. When you first look at it, wow, how good it looks. Mind you, there's a complete large research that's gone into Northern Europe, Scandinavia, and US, where there is a completely different school of thought. We already say that Gen Z is just a 15-minute attention span. In that 15 minutes, the brain starts compartmentalizing. It says the first part is the wow factor. Then you hear something, your voiceover. Then you read something, your scrolled subtitle. Each one of them have got a compartmentalized priority in the minds of this Gen Z, whose attention span is low, we already agree. So that means if I have to take an example of, say, entry into enclosed spaces. Yeah, he's seeing the person entering, so beautiful, the looks, the wow factor is there. Has he actually learned every single bit of why he has to do everything that the checklist says? What he has to do, everything that the checklist says, that is second and third priority and tends to forget. So it's very important that let the technology be an aid to learning, aid to teaching rather than replace the teacher. With that, I would like to introduce the panel. I have a technology company owner here, I have an academician, and I have a CTO here. So that's an interesting combination to, how do I say, tumble around with this point that I put into mind. So let me introduce Mr. Sunil Kumar, a marine engineer. He's a seasoned maritime professional, currently serving as CTO and Head of Training and Assessment in Great Eastern. He's made significant contributions to regulatory affairs. He's been a member of Indian delegation for the Maritime Safety Committee as well as HTW subcommittee, which is great. He's been in the technical committee and training and research committees of DNA, BIS and INSA. He's an MBA in General Management from IIT Mumbai. He's a Master's in Mechanical Engineering and of course MEO Class 1 goes without saying. And he's also a Chartered Engineer with Institution of Engineers and Fellow of the Institution of Marine Engineers. I think he's also the editor of isn't it? You are? Yes, iMelenge. He's a great speaker, so we can have him with us here. Next to him is Captain Hathi. How do you pronounce Hathi or Hathi? Subendu Hathi is, he is an academician. He is the Vice Principal of Samudra Institute presently, and he came ashore in 2006 as a faculty in RL Institute of Nautical Science and gone up along his passage. He started his sea career in, 92. Yeah. So welcome, Subendu. And next to him is Captain Ruchindayal and a good friend. He owns E-Dot Solution, is a complete technology person, is a seasoned maritime professional again, currently serving as CTO. Oh, sorry, I've got Sunil Kumar's thing in that. That's old age, gentlemen. Yes, Kamal, I did retire. So Ruchin is the founder and CEO of E-Dot Solution, a technology-driven maritime solution provider for the last 2 decades, with a focus on safety, efficiency, crew well-being. Amongst all that, he's an excellent cybersecurity trainer. He actually does that, being certified by NKK, if I'm not mistaken, and he does a lot for NYK. Every single person joining the ship goes through a 6-hour training through his team. He's got a large team. He is from sunny Goa, enjoys himself. So there we have into this thing. With your permission, let me start the panel with a question to Mr. Sunil Kumar. Yes, let's go back to the present Gen Z. You know, one of the things that has been moving around in the Gen Z is that they are, I think that's a better idea. Thank you, Sunil, the only considerate person. One of the things that Gen Z do have, they talk about is the change of sectors. If you really look at it, even from the technology sector also, they don't stay in one place, they keep going up from one place to another. So with that in question, should our future curriculum also cater to our moving away, not just pure sailing, but possibly into the logistics sector, port sector and so on and so forth? What's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, thank you, Captain Kishore. It's a nice question. And it also takes me to my own journey. 93, I came out to sea. And from the very beginning, I had the inclination to do a job ashore. For some reason, various reasons, basically. I wanted to come ashore. And like many of my seniors, I was told that you have to be a chief engineer first, have some experience, and then come ashore. Then only you will get a good job, a decent job. So this is what I did. I kept a target that, okay, let me clear my COC first, become the chief engineer, and 10 years down the line, in 2003, I came ashore. Somebody suggested, okay, start your career with classification society jobs. So I joined DNV. I was there for some time. I felt, okay, money is not good enough. So I became technical manager and finally landed up being into training world. So all I'm trying to say that whatever I did was by way of hearsay, seeing my seniors, nothing was structured. I was going by my gut and looking here and there, people who are progressing in the different field. And now also when I see and I look around, I see many of my batchmates who went into ITs. They did some training and moved out to some other field. So your question is very pertinent. Now coming to your question, what are we offering to Gen Z? Today, we are saying the same thing what we did. But I don't think that's the right approach. We have to offer them a very structured path from the very beginning. So the answer is definitely yes. We must offer them some kind of learning, training at the institute level itself, pre-C level itself. That knowledge will give them exposure, which will not only benefit them in case they don't find sailing as a fantastic career, which is, but Gen Z, as you rightly said, they are very much into, like, they want comfort. They want a bit easy life. They want work-life balance. They don't want to face that kind of hardship. Of course, there is one effort to bring down that hardship at sea. But then, what about the opportunities? The opportunities must be available to them, and that's why I feel the current curriculum at pre-C level itself must include the allied sector understanding and knowledge. Yeah, thanks.
So you got the question, how does the industry manage attrition, you from being from Great Eastern especially?
Yeah. So the main thing is, okay, I understood what you're saying. It's going to be a serious concern. As it is currently, as an employer, we see that we are hardly able to get the right kind of people for our ships. With this allied industry training being given at pre-C level, which comes with its own challenges, there will be definitely a shift of the young generation who are coming out of the institutes. They would prefer going to the ancillary field. So the attrition is going to be a challenge, yes. But then when there is a challenge, there is a solution also. The first thing, what should be kept in mind is the increase the size of the pie. We have to have a bigger number of people coming to maritime ecosystem. When I say ecosystem, that means they are not to be meant only for shipping, sailing, seafaring, but also for catering to the allied industry. So a bigger chunk. We have to have a bigger chunk of people coming to this whole maritime industry. We should not be recruiting or inducting people only for seafaring. So when we are interviewing people for our institutes, who is now going to provide not only the skills which are required for seafaring, but also for allied industries. And hence, I would like to just bring some points which Mr. Sam Jagannathan, who has left just now, he was mentioning about Maritime India vision. It's talking about the same thing almost, that the seafaring percentage from 12% to 20%. It's like increasing the pie. How do we do it? He has rightly given the 4 pillars and the path. We have to work on those paths. It should not remain in the presentations. At some point in time, the institutes, the whole system, like we were working, the trainers, the professional bodies like MTI, MTG, IMEI, CMMI, these bodies have to come forward and ensure that these 4 pillars which have been highlighted in Maritime India Vision 2030, that is happening. And the number from 12% to 20% is not only being talked about, it's becoming the reality. And that will probably solve this problem.
Thank you, Sunil. Thank you. I mean, something like maybe the first year is common for everybody and then they go off. I'll come back to that. With this, I will go to Ruchin. Ruchin, how much of technology component do you think we should have in our future syllabus? Do you think we should make our seafarers or the maritime professionals, taking cue from what Sunil is suggesting, who could go into any of the sectors of maritime, how much of technology component do you think we should add? Just a knowledge and understanding, or do you want them to be programmers or just super users? What's your thought, Ruchin?
Thank you, sir. So the technology quotient is so high presently, especially after Rabindraji's talk, that I may come across as being overly simplistic. I'm sorry for that. But essentially what comes to my mind is digital literacy. Before we go any further, and we have spoken so much about technology, that fundamentals of digital literacy, I think at least understanding level is what we require. And then we go to collaborative digital literacy. So where in the fundamentals of digital literacy, we look at basic networks, encryption protocols, patching, and so on. Where collaborative literacy is concerned, we learn to collaborate with digitization. It's not enough just to know what an equipment does and how it cooperates or with other equipment, but how do we as individuals actually collaborate with technology? And whether we stick to shipping or whether we go on to do other things after we leave shipping, this aspect cannot be avoided. So this is my...
Very well said, Ruchin. I mean, the importance of identifying the requirement of being digitally literate, if I may say, or, you know, there's a short difference between being literate and being educated, as Captain Halbe always used to say. Being literate is you know how to sign. I won't say anything more. So it is digitally educated maybe. And very true. With that in question, let's go to the true academician in Captain Hathi. Subhendu, what do you think, having said that, excellent point from Sunil to say, how do we give this basic knowledge to tell a young person who is coming into our profession saying that, hey, seafaring is one part of it. There is so much more to it on the side. Should we give them that in the curriculum? And taking on from Ruchin's point of view, do we have time to do all these things within the curriculum that we are thinking of just 1 year of DNS or 3 years of BSc? What's your thought, Subhendu?
Thank you, sir. So I will try to speak from the educator's point of view, or the trainer's point of view, especially for pre-C courses, and as you said, for DNS and BSc. This DNS course came sometimes in the early 2000s, when it came under IGNOU as a 1-year course. And before that, BSc Nautical Science, I think we started with Trainingship Rajendra in, I believe it was 1988. Now, when we started DNS, there was a urgent requirement from the industry that we required more people, more deck cadets to come up. So the syllabus, what was there at that time, when IGNOU came, it did not have much of digitization as a part of the curriculum. Also, it did not have many other things which we have now including in our DNS course under IMU. But the time remained the same, it is 1-year course. So there are certain topics which have become, I would say, obsolete and were taken out, and some more could be taken out, but those amount is very less. There are certain topics where it required upgradation, and we have been doing it. But we are not making enough space for putting the new wish list from the industry or from the technologists. So the syllabus is getting cramped and cramped and cramped. Over that, we want more extracurricular activities and co-curricular activities. We want our cadets to be smart, representing the institute at various levels, various forums. So then 1-year time becomes a bit short. Also, we look at, when you look at the degree programs, the BSc Nautical Science, also not to leave out the engineering programs of BTech and GME. The engineering programs has got one benefit, that they are graduation programs. So either it is BTech in mechanical engineering or marine engineering, they have 4 years time. So a lot of things can be added. Even BSc Nautical Science has got a lot of scope, and where we can accommodate all this, things which we need to accommodate for the present trends. But for DNS, it is, as the days are passing, it's becoming tougher and tougher to accommodate what the industry wants us to. Having said so, also I would like to put one more thought, that there are core competencies which are must to have, and there are side-by-side competencies which are nice to have. My request is that we should not compromise on those must-to-have competencies. As a cadet, you want to be a good in watchkeeping, port watchkeeping, then you want to be at least, if not a very high standard, but at least good in ROR and good in seamanship. So those areas we should not compromise. And bringing in technology into training, there I have to say this, that an employer always judges a cadet when he goes on board by his hands-on skills. Whether he can take a sounding properly, whether he drops the bob and the bob is stuck down below the sounding pipe, whether he can open and close a valve properly. So whatever training which can be done in the shore-based institute manually, hands-on, should not be replaced by AR or VR. There comes then those topics, those areas where it cannot be done on the shore. Yes, there we can take the help of, first we should look for AR, where we keep the reality and augment it. And if that is not possible, then we can go to the next level, VR, where we create a virtual environment. So we should be cautious. I am not critical about technology. I am little cautious with technology. Because ultimately the expectations when the cadet goes on board is whether he is able to perform his jobs hands-on. Whether he is able to keep a proper lookout. So these kind of things are core competencies, and the wish list which is coming up should not eat the time from these areas. That is my opinions.
Very well said, Subhendu. You got a point of talking about the importance of practicality when it comes to forming a syllabus. Shortage of time, no doubt. But remember that all of us are very clear about the KUPAA approach of Bloom's taxonomy, I'm sorry. So knowledge level still has got much lesser time And just introduction, as Sunil said, to the rest of the sectors could itself be a good start point into that. But this time when we were revising the syllabus for the nautical science, when we did a gap study from the industry, we realized that the BSc boys are coming faster to them as officers than the DNS boys, despite DNS supposed to be a fast track part of it. The statistics is proving otherwise. Quite surprising, but it's true, because they take longer time to clear the second mate's examination, the DNS guys. So a fine balance between the two possibly would be an answer. As far as technology is concerned, the bane of technology is cybersecurity. So what have you got to say about that, Ruchin, being your expert subject? How do you think we have to caution the entire, not just the officers, the entire set of seafaring community towards this?
Thank you, sir. So here again, I would use a very simplistic argument, in the sense today, this is 2024, and say I call a taxi, and a taxi arrives, but I see that it's self-driven. This is today. This is 2024. Was I expecting it? No. Will I enter it? Will any one of you enter it? Because in your mind you will start thinking that if there is a cop ahead who's directing traffic by hand, what is this taxi going to do? Or you may think it's raining, it's going to, is this taxi getting the positions from satellite or from an earth station? Furthermore, if you're going to Andheri and if you have got to go through the Milan subway, imagine if the taxi breaks down, you want to know whether the door will open or not. So basically, I don't think any one of us will enter, because we are not prepared. And we should have been prepared for this technology, which has long been racing against time yesterday, but we haven't been able to do so. How are we sending people on board? We are giving them a small map and a compass in the form of a small course, 6-hour course, or some simulator, or otherwise the good old parallel sailing, where the person is going to learn himself. Now, like I said earlier, where fundamentals and collaborative digital technology is concerned, it has, especially collaborative digital literacy, has got everything to do with cybersecurity. There is no point knowing the capabilities and limitations of technology, but when it matters most, we punch in the charging cord of the mobile into the egg disk. I mean, there is no point. This collaboration, this instinct must be developed, that how we need to develop a culture of hygiene so that we can collaborate safely with technology. Presently, it's like, a guy who's used to cutting a tree with an axe, and you give him a electric saw with a small booklet in English, which he doesn't know how to read. Do you think you're making the life of that person easier? You think our life has become easier with so much of technology put on our shoulders when we go on board? The example is exactly the same. In fact, this poor fellow who will try to use this electric saw may actually get hurt, because he doesn't know what is the PPE to be used, how to use it, how to hold it. So cyber security, in my opinion, is something that we should have been ready yesterday, but nonetheless, it's never too late, and we need to start making an effort. And to add to it, today we discussed continuous professional programs, development, LMSs. That is the way to go. We have used it successfully in the surveying background, where we have the CPT, Continuous Professional Development Program, for the best surveyors in the world, where 1,200 surveyors make sure that their competencies are updated. Because technology is going to keep changing, so how are you going to keep up with it? It's only with this continuous and ongoing professional development. Thank you.
Very well said, Ruchin. It's very important that if we have to learn even that bit of technology, we should know how best to use it and not fall prey to the same technology as it is. With that in question, with our very nice inputs from Subhendu to say that what could be the squeezing in, if I may say so, of the syllabus as against the right aspects of practicality in the syllabus, and Ruchin's thought of making sure that a candidate is sanitized even before he possibly goes on the ship. So as an employer's point of view, what do you think, Sunil, would be the best balance to get the two together to have our upper hand in the globally in this sector?
Again, a fantastic point which needs to be definitely addressed. So you said the Coupa model. So we have to split the entire learning, which is the new learning, learning in allied, learning about technology, into 4 segments. Pre-C, that is at knowledge level. Understanding level should go in when you board the vessel. When you board the vessel as trainee, your TME or cadet, that is the time the understanding should be given. And the operational level officers, at that level we start giving the exposure towards proficiency. And when you are switching over to the management level, that is the time the application, that Coupa, the 4 sections of Coupa, I feel that pre-C level, levels of post-C, that is on-board training, that is at trainee level, that operational level, and the management level. So if we structure the entire curriculum, the challenge of Mr. Hathi, Captain Hathi, that how do we shove in everything? No, it's not possible, I agree. As it is, we are struggling at our institute to fit in the current syllabus. But if we do not prepare this young generation for everything that we have been talking about since morning, then we are going to lag behind. The global competitiveness is going to be missed out. We are going to miss the boat. Many countries across the globe who are ahead of us, they are incorporating everything, packaging everything so nicely. The acceptance of their methodology and that Coupa model, right kind of implementation will definitely help the cause. Thanks.
Very well said, Sunil, and I think you have given us all a lot of food for thought, especially people who are in that. So as I can see it, it's a very good thought to say that let the pre-C macro level be the knowledge base, let the post-C go from a step of understanding to a proficiency to an application and analysis. It's an excellent thought, which means that every one of us, whether it's a post-C, pre-C, or the people who are creating the syllabus and handling the syllabus further ahead, including DG for the post-C and possibly IMU for the pre-C, need to be on the same page. The path has to be set right from the beginning. Well, gentlemen, I'm not going to take, I'm sorry, well, friends, keep going back to gentlemen. We are from the old school, we should not forget, and the ladies. So, as a matter of fact, the session was supposed to be 1 hour and 15 minutes, but because of our Bombay airport, we shall truncate it because, you know, the plane manages to land not 1 hour late, but half an hour late. So I will try and sum up this particular session as early as possible so that my good friend David has got at least some time before we have lunch, and his panelists have got enough strength to speak even without lunch. So by having said that, I think one take home that clearly comes out of this session is this aspect what Sunil put in. That is for Prabhat to note seriously that this is something that can come out as a white paper from us. The combination of the macro level, knowledge level when you are on a pre-C level. It doesn't mean that, you know, there is a clear KUPA in every single part of the syllabus. Those of you from the nautical side, if you go through the 6th revision of DNS and BSc, which is already circulated, it does take into consideration everything that is spoken here. So we are there, and in the first part of the regulation, it says that this syllabus is dynamic. Every 6 months we can tweak it. We can't change it. If the SSW comes in, we can add that in. But other than that, it can be very dynamic, and it's possible in all the syllabuses. But the most important thing is to connect the dots from that level right till ASM or masters or whatever it is, I've been out of touch with that stream, but the entire stream should be taken on into a single circle. Another thing is, I have myself initiated a concept note based on the new education policy of a 4-year course, which could have the first year as a base of all kind of sectors, whether it is maritime, port, ocean, naval arc, whatever it may be, engineering, nautical science, ETO. The first year could be common, 1 and 2 semester, and 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, 8th semester onwards, one could take on electives and one could take on a branch in which he or she could continue on. At concept level, how long it will take, I don't know, because NEP says that you require 4 years for an undergraduate course, especially US universities don't accept for postgraduate in case you don't have 4 years. It's a concept note, it's a thought, we could also work on it. That's another aspect that is coming out of this. So with that, friends, I would say that we will, with the permission of the panelists, we will, I've already summed up the panel, request Prabhat to take a note of this so that we have a white paper. I would call the panel to conclusion. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Very well done, sir. Thank you. Great, Suvendu.
Thank you very much, Captain Kishore. If you will all wait a minute here for you to be felicitated. And thank you so much for aborting or pulling back the throttle over there and allowing the next panel to come on. May I invite Captain Halbe to please come up and felicitate our... He's gone out? Okay, he doesn't want to come up. Okay. So, Captain Nalin Pandey, please. Yes, sir. Can we have the... Yes. Fleet management, which included critical functions such as technical new buildings, procurement, and fleet personnel departments for over 10 long years. Thereafter, he headed the Training and Assessment Department for 5 years as Vice President, when he superannuated and continued as advisor, heading the Great Eastern Institute of Maritime Studies, that's GEMS, Lonavala, till his retirement just a month ago on 30th June 2024, and he is now retained as a consultant. David has a degree in mechanical engineering and he completed his marine engineering training from Mumbai Port Trust. David commenced his sea career with SCI and thereafter joined Wallum. His shore career included stints with Wallum, SR Shipping Limited and Anglo-Eastern Ship Management before joining Great Eastern. David is currently a member of technical committees of several classification societies including DNV, RENA, BV, etc. He is currently the chairman of the Mumbai branch of IMEI. He has been heading the training subcommittee for more than 4 years now. He was convener of the last Inmarco Expo held in November 2022, which was a huge success. David, where? Oh, okay. Come on, please. May I invite the panelists, Captain M.C. Yadav, Mr. Pawan Kapoor, Captain H. Kumar, and Miss Shilpa Bali. David, you will please introduce the panelists? Yeah, thank you.
I'm not sure why I always get the last session before lunch. So it is probably the most difficult part to keep you away from lunch. So I need this session to be more engaging. I hope it will be one. The topic is very important and I'm sure it will help build a voracious appetite. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests and esteemed colleagues, good afternoon and welcome to the session on equipping trainers and assessors. This is a very relevant topic in today's dynamics and rapidly progressing maritime industry. And I'm indeed thankful to MTG for giving me an opportunity to lead the discussions. In our ever-evolving maritime industry, these professionals are pivotal in ensuring our seafarers are not only technically skilled, but also adhere to the highest standards of safety and compliance. As technology advances, with innovations like autonomous vessels and sophisticated navigation and engine systems, trainers must continuously upgrade their skills. This ensures that they can effectively educate the next generation of maritime professionals. Moreover, understanding and teaching international regulations and environmental sustainability practices are essential for maintaining the industry's integrity and minimizing its ecological impact. Today we will explore the challenges and opportunities in enhancing the capabilities of maritime trainers and assessors. By investing in advanced tools and ongoing professional development, we can secure a safe, efficient and sustainable future for maritime professionals. Our goal today is to delve into innovative strategies, share insights and discuss practical approaches and enhance capabilities of our maritime educators and assessors. I'm really looking forward to an insightful discussion with the eminent panelists. I'm indeed honored to introduce them. Some of them are doyens of the maritime industry of India. So, though everybody will say they need no introduction, I would insist on at least quickly giving a recap to their credibility and the kind of work they have done for the industry. I would like to start with Captain Mahesh Yadav, and he was very adamant that I don't say anything more except that he is the director of FOSMA training. But I must tell you that there are a few credentials which we must develop on. He's a first-class science graduate who did his pre-sea training at T.S. Rajendra in the 75-76. And he stood first in his batch. He served with SCI from 76 to 89, from cadet to master on almost all types of vessels. He also obtained his extra first-class certificate. From 89 to 97, he was deputed by SCI to Rajendra, Chanakya, and LBS College. And thereafter, till 99, he worked in SCI office. In August 99, he joined FOSMA as Director of Maritime Training and Education, and he's been since there for, I think, almost 25 years now. So I think he's celebrating Silver Jubilee with FOSMA as the Training Director. I think he deserves a huge round of applause. He's also the examiner for the University of Mumbai for the BSc Nautical course, and he has participated in IMO's several sessions for SW revision from 2007 to 2010. And he also has a vast experience and vision, being instrumental in shaping the future of maritime training and assessment. So that's Captain Mahesh Yadav for you, ladies and gentlemen. The next one, equally credible, Mr. Pawan Kapoor, has vast and varied experience of over 44 years in the maritime industry, of which 34 have been in education and training in various capacities. Former head of IMTC and CEO of Tolani Maritime Institute, Mr. Kapoor founded the ISF group in 2000. Again, 24 long years since he formed the group. It involved in a host of training, e-solutions, applied research, management consulting, and academic partnership activities for the maritime and allied industries. The ISF group has adopted the UN Sustainable Development Goals and launched a decade-long project, International Maritime Research Confluence, in support of the goals. He has also been part of the IMO Green Voyage 2050 as one of the consultants in India. A practitioner of yoga in the way of life, he is the founder and trustee of Inner Search Foundation, a public charitable trust. The trust has set up the Confluence Center of Yoga Science and Sustainability in the Raigad district of Maharashtra, where he currently heads. That's Mr. Pawan Kapoor, ladies and gentlemen. The next is Ms. Shilpa Bandurge. She is a dedicated and highly experienced professional in the maritime electrotechnology field. She is currently serving as a surveyor in the Indian Register of Shipping. She is also pursuing a PhD focusing on AI-based fault prediction in solar power plants at seaports. She holds a postgraduate degree in electronics and communication engineering, which has laid the strong foundation for her advanced research. Her professional journey includes sailing, experience on oil tankers and gas carriers, VLGC, showcasing her hands-on expertise in the marine electrotechnology and automation fields. Furthermore, Shilpa also serves as an external examiner at MMD, where she conducts written and oral exams for the ETOCOC, contributing to the development of future maritime professionals. With an impressive 15 years of academic experience, having taught at Tolani Maritime Institute for 1 year and the latter 14 years at Great Eastern Institute, where I have had the good fortune of interacting with her. She is specialized in training in marine electronic technology, high voltage systems, PLC automation, and cyber security. She is also a practitioner of yoga, meditation, and enjoys dancing as a hobby. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's Ms. Shilpa Bandurge for you. Last but not the least is Captain Haldorai, founder and CEO of Sea Skill Maritime Academy in Coimbatore, conducting post-sea courses training more than 60,000 seafarers till date. He is an external examiner for second mates and chief mates exam, oral exam since 2010. He is an active member of the panel of question paper moderation for all deck competency courses. He is involved in the assessment of written exam papers for deck competency and also a founder member of MTG. That's the elite panel for you, ladies and gentlemen. And without much ado, let's start with the discussions. So I would like to start with Captain Mahesh Yadav. So, Captain Yadav, what is your assessment of the teachers to cope with technological advancement for imparting education and training? Additionally, how can we ensure maritime trainers and assessors stay up to date with the latest industry trends and technological advancements?
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I think to begin with, we are so fortunate in this profession that we do not have teachers or trainers. What we have is the sailing maritime professionals who come ashore and then they start into the teaching or training field. So per se, we are not directly engaging people from the colleges directly or something like that, who will come and teach. The people who are coming as trainers in the institutes, whatever that level of institute that may be, pre-C, post-C, engineering, nautical, but they are all sailing maritime professionals at almost the highest level in most cases, and then coming ashore and imparting training to the people for their successors or for the fellow seafarers. So, to begin with itself, we are at a much higher pedestal in terms of the qualification, experience, or the competency of the people concerned. When they say, that somebody is qualified, not only is qualified, experienced and carrying out that particular task which he is today standing and trying to teach somebody else. That's a much higher starting point that we have. If you look at over the years, I don't think the trainers that we had or the people who opted for coming ashore for teaching, they have let us down at any time. I mean, you can go 40 years ago, at least I can probably take you back there. But as the things have grown, our teachers and the trainers at every level, whether it's instructor or faculty or the vice principal, principal level and others, they have kept pace with it. And not only that they have kept pace with it, some of them were much, much better off, maybe due to little more inclination towards changing things. And I can only give you, you've got to accept my limitation, I'll only give you examples of the nautical discipline, that when we had the radar or ARPA or GPS or before that SatNav, or any of the equipment including EGDIS subsequently, or operation of GMDSS, we never had any issues in terms of that the people on board were not able to operate this equipment. Yes, we had different kind of problems. We had problems with over-reliance on the electronic equipment. That means if the radar is fitted, he knows everything what to do, but then he's not looking outside. Nobody told him not to look outside just because the radar is there. If there is an ARPA which is provided over there with that facility, which came a little later, of course, but then having ARPA does not mean that you, what we use the word, you find out whether the risk of collision exists or not. We have forgotten to do that because ARPA is there. That ARPA alarm will tell you whether risk of collision exists or not. So it's the same thing comes to the SatNav or GPS. Now when the GPS is there, it's giving position, very good. That does not mean that you don't plot radar positions. But factually, this is what is happening. GPS is there, and now with the EGDIS, it is showing on the EGDIS, nobody is plotting radar positions. You ask anybody if there is, sometimes I take oral examination as well, that on the coastal passes, if the GPS signal stops coming, what will you do? You will get some fancy answers. I don't want to give you examples, not worth it. But the natural thing is not coming because they are not prepared for what to do if this does not work because of the over-reliance, the incidents and accidents, particularly for the navigation part, are being caused by over-reliance and not by the lack of knowledge of technology or its application. Because the limitations are not being given sufficient weightage. And as long as we keep doing that, I don't think just the technology is going to save us without our own common sense, seamanship, or the general seamanship what we are required to follow. Thank you. As far as training of the trainers or equipping the trainers are concerned, I got no doubt. I think our people are pretty well off, and they will all look after things as they come. I have a lot of confidence in that.
I think excellently put, because normally we hear that our trainers are not equipped or they are pretty prehistoric in that sense of training. But Captain Yadav gives us another picture that they are pretty capable, and in fact they can cope up with the latest technological advancements, and will be very easy for them to teach such syllabus or with using modern methodologies. So that's a different perspective, and in fact a very welcome perspective in that sense. So thank you, Captain Yadav. I will move on to Mr. Pawan Kapoor. One of the topics that we often discuss among the maritime training fraternity is continual upgradation of maritime faculty. From a recent post in social media, I understand that your organization has recently established a standard for this purpose. So could you throw some light on it, what it contains and how the industry can benefit from it?
Thanks, David. Thank you all for being here. I would like to just show a few slides. Is it possible
Yes,
to?
yes, sure.
Thanks, Kamal. David, your question, very valid. Actually, recently we have developed a system. And I would also like to refer to what my colleague Captain Yadav just mentioned. Yes, it's true. When we started teaching actually ourselves, and myself and Captain Yadav almost contemporary, I think he joined a couple of years before me, there were very few institutions around. So, and we had great teachers like Captain Joseph, Captain Rivari, and many of them, over the years, what has happened is that the number of institutions have grown many fold. And perhaps we all realize, who have been into the field of teaching, that it takes substantial time for us to develop as decent teachers, So what we have identified, and the reason for that is that we came up with a standard for continual assessment, development and certification of maritime faculty. And I am pleased to share that this standard has now been also accredited by Class NK very recently. So what exactly is CAD, CF as we say? In simple terms, in colloquial terms, we can say it is the STCW for maritime trainers. Okay. Why? Because yes, we identified, in fact, we were entrusted with the responsibility of benchmarking maritime training institutes in 2017-18. Our experience was that there is a need for maritime trainers to evolve on a continuous basis. Just doing a VICT or TOTA program does not equip us or ensure that we will develop and sustain our skills in a long-term basis. So that's the reason why we thought of doing this. How does it work? We have identified a total of 38 competencies. The sources are 6.09, 6.10, 3.12, the STCW, and many other international level regulations or guidelines for teachers and trainers. And we have classified them at induction, at intermediate and at advanced levels. So it's a three-step progression for a maritime trainer. This is what typically a layout, the standard would look like. I'm just displaying a page out here. What you find in STCW. We have the competencies at induction, intermediate and advanced levels. And then we have the methods of demonstrating competence and of course the criteria for evaluating the trainers. Our intention is to build up a portal where maritime trainers can log in free of charge. What will the portal have? It will have 5 different sections. One is the standard itself. With time, we'll also make the standard publicly available so that any trainer who's wanting to equip himself and progress on the path will be able to see what are the competencies and how he should or she should develop oneself, He can apply for certification. So what we'll be building up a complete certification process within the system. There would be learning resources available again free of charge for all the trainers, so that means we would not be training them here because that's a conflict of interest. We are only going to be acting as assessors for issuing certification. But learning resources which we compile and we get from other sources will be available so people can visit the portal and be able to learn along the way. And of course, they can also give a feedback on the standard or the system itself. The key part on the portal would be the assessment for certification. So we would have objective and subjective questions. Then there would be orals. That means when somebody applies, let's say for the induction level certification, he or she will have to register oneself. Then they'll go through a thorough, it will be a very rigorous test in objective and subjective questions, followed by orals and followed by a video, I would say live video assessment of the person teaching. So that's how the whole system has been developed. And this, once the portal is ready in our next couple of weeks' time, I would say it may take about 4 to 6 weeks to make it ready. At that time, we'll go back to the industry and share the information so people can register and be part of the system. We have to ensure at ISF Group that we maintain the integrity of the whole system. So it's important that we would be building up a complete set of rules, which we are already in the progress of finishing now, which tells us how we should go about executing the system. We will also be very careful that there's no conflict of interest. So we would not be really providing any services to any individual or to an institution who's part of this system for assessment and issuing of certification. And of course, there would be a comprehensive training program for our assessors, and finally, clearly defined criteria for assessment of subjective questions, projects, orals, etc. And finally, the questions would keep changing from time to time to ensure that the system remains very effective throughout. So that's about the program. David, thank you very much. That's what I want to share.
I think it's a wonderful initiative by ISF, and I think kudos to your team for such an initiative. But I have only one probably doubt, because every individual trainer feels that they know everything. So probably the institutes will be more augmented or helped by your program, and it may be probably a very good idea that the institutes insist that the trainers are assessed and then the gaps are then resolved by future training or whatever. So I think maybe the offering can be to the institutes, and maybe in the future it can also be looked at some sort of compulsion to be brought in so that trainers can be assessed from time to time to know the gaps and then augment that by suitable training. What's your thoughts on that?
You're right, David. Actually, that is what the intention would be. In fact, we believe that this system, once implemented in any institute, will also help the institute to manage the overall human resources. I mean, it sometimes sounds negative to call teachers human resources, but the fact of the matter is that you need to manage your team and ensure that the right people are progressing and they are getting due incentives who are really working hard on the craft, of teaching.
Great. That's I think that goes with what I am thinking. So thank you so much, Pawan. Let's try and get a younger perspective. So we'll move on to Shilpa. And Shilpa, can you just tell us, given the current social habitat of students, what effective strategies should trainers and assessors adopt to ensure that maritime training programs remain engaging and up to date in our rapidly evolving industry? Shilpa.
Thank you, sir. With my 14 years of experience at Maritime Training Institutes, I have seen significant change in the students' behavior and their learning preferences due to their changing social habits. Today we see people have very short attention span. We cannot focus more than a few minutes. And this is because we are connected with the social media, laptops, smartphones, and that's why mind has got habit to change from one task to another task. And this is the same issue with the trainees and students as well. But at the same time, the positive side of it, if we see, is today's students are more technical savvy. They can adapt and learn new technologies and techniques very fast. So I think due to changing in social habits, we need to see whether our teaching methodology has evolved. We need to evolve the teaching methodologies, and we need to adapt the new teaching strategies to capture their interest and facilitate effective learning. Few teaching strategies I would like to mention here, that is leveraging the technology and digital tools, because today's students are more interested into or accustomed to consume videos, infographics, interactive simulations. This can make the learning more engaging. Designing the short and engaging lessons, micro-learning techniques can deliver bite size of lessons which can be quickly absorbed. Encouraging active learning, interactive quizzes, polls, group discussions. This will encourage the student to take interest, make them more competitive to perform well. Then personalize learning techniques, because every students are not with same strengths and weaknesses are different, their learning paces are different. So using adaptive learning technologies, we can tailor the instructions and make the lessons as per individual needs and their learning paces. And lastly, that provide instant feedback. That also encourage the student. If we, there are digital tools which allow us to give instant results, feedback of the assignments and examinations. Implementing formative assessment will help to monitor the progress throughout continuously, and at the same time we can address the learning gaps also promptly with the help of this instant, by providing instant feedbacks. So these are some strategies, and definitely teaching methodology has to evolve, and the advent of digital technology has opened up exciting possibilities, and as trainers and assessors it is our duty to harness these tools and create the training programs which are with highest standards of excellence, safety and innovation. And we should ensure that our maritime professionals are not only well prepared, but they are also inspired for their role. Thank you.
Thank you, Shilpa. I think I totally agree with you that it's very crucial to align with the students of today's mentality to ensure that the training become more relevant, engaging and also effective. We move on to Captain Haldorai. Haldorai, a quick question to you is about the challenges in providing quality maritime training in India. What are the challenges?
Yeah, good afternoon everyone. Along with digital literacy comes the transparency. So kindly allow me to use my mobile to just read out what I have written. I want to be a little transparent. I don't want to look very extempore in my talking. And being the last speaker, many of them have already spoken my mind out. So I'll take very little time in this. When we talk of quality in maritime training, the focus what we have is on the syllabus updation or the training of the faculty in the examination system. Today I want to touch upon the topic which is deep rooted into this maritime training, and I strongly feel unless these issues are addressed, the change is not going to be very effective, and it will be just a superficial change. So I want to address this in three broad areas. What challenges we have, the challenges which are faced by the maritime training institutes, the challenges faced by the faculties, and the challenges faced by the students. In these three areas, with respect to the MTIs, there is a shortage of faculty. I think we all agree to that. It is not with respect to the quantity, it is with respect to the quality of the faculties. The DGS e-governance website might say that there is excess of faculties, but how many of them are on records without teaching? How many are able to effectively deliver the lecture is one what we need to deliberate about. The main reason for the shortage is being lesser remuneration. Obviously, every one of us know that, and which does not attract good talent. Few MTIs claim that they have been at par excellence, but it does not represent the majority or totality or the reality. In the global market, where the seafarers will trace the trail of their knowledge to the country of training, and especially during the accidents,
the seafarers will be identified by the nationality from which they are being trained. Obviously, we have seen on the ship which collided with the bridge in US, immediate news, flash news was that the Indians were manning the ship. India as a seafaring country, aspiring to increase the share of the global market from 12 to 20%, we need to take a holistic view to understand if all the MTIs are equipped with the right quality of faculty and bring pragmatic and practical solutions. The root cause of the problem is the fees, what is being levied. I think for the pre-C institutes, it should be all right, whereas for the post-C institutes, I think the fees which is paid is very abysmally very low. I think I remember 25 years back when I did the ROC course, the fees was about in Indian rupees 12,000, and still the same fees is hovering on that. So to provide good remuneration to the faculty with these kind of rates which is over there, it will be very difficult. And unless the authorities take some action on this, there is no hope of change in the near horizon with respect to the price war between the institutes. The second challenge is with the availability of the resource. The faculty resource which is already available is being limited in the use. Whereas with respect to the 18 hours of faculty usage, one side we are grappling with quality manpower faculties, whereas the other side we are unable to use the resource on that. Probably DGS has to take a view on this to not to restrict the number of hours of the teaching faculty over there. And with respect to the challenges faced by the faculty, I think seafaring career doesn't give an academic background. We are good in delivering practical knowledge. So there is no pragmatic, there is no proper training background for the faculties. So when we take up a career in teaching, it is sometimes discouraging that we don't have any guidance. Probably we have to set up, maybe DGS can set up a training cell wherein faculty development can be there. I have seen during the DGS presentation, they are looking over that. And with respect to the students, I think the current examination system is based on the rote learning, and obviously the faculty and students will follow the queue. Many changes need to be done. I hope the artificial intelligence will help us in transforming the examination system. And also the employment of the students is not based on the skill what they have or the present system is there. So probably the employers have to look into it to see whether they are really absorbing this skill based or the candidates who are really performing on the priority. And as the information is available easily also, the candidates feel that they can learn at any other later time. So these are the challenges I feel we are having in the current day scenario. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Captain Haldorai. Though some of your views are slightly in tangent to what Captain Yadav mentioned, especially regarding the quality of trainers and the background, but I think we will keep it for another day for that counter discussions and perspectives to be delved into deeper. But coming back to Pawan, I mean, I just thought about it regarding your wonderful program. Normally we depend on bodies like maritime administrations, classification societies and other statutory bodies to act from impartial, independent and objective standpoint to carry out surveillance and certification. What steps will your organization be taking to ensure that certificates issued under the CADCF scheme remain credible?
Yeah, David, thanks. Partly I shared in the presentation, but just to, the most important part is the intent. I mean, we are very clear that this is not a business activity for us, this specific one. And that's why I would say the registration to the portal, the availability of resources are all free of cost. What perhaps a person would pay for who's applying for certification is only the cost towards what we will have to spend for getting an assessor and other resources to do that. So that's first part. Second important thing is that we are very conscious of the fact that it's a responsibility to be an assessor. It's a huge responsibility. And the credibility would depend on how fair we are in the system. So we have to totally deny any business opportunity which comes along for us from any potential institute that is going ahead with the certification with us, basically. So we are clear on that part. So these are the steps that would take, and there would be comprehensive rules available for us to follow. So it is not something that is done ad hoc. There is a clear guidelines, and we train our assessors in the entire standard thoroughly, so that they know when they're assessing any competency, what exactly they are supposed to do there. So that's what we're trying to do.
Thank you, Pawan. Your system promises a lot and can't wait for seeing it come into the market for the end users to use it and then see what positive impact it can have on the overall industry. So yeah, well done, Pawan. I mean, I'm sure a lot of us will surely appreciate the kind of effort you're putting in for bettering the training standards in India. Captain Mahesh, I have a question for you based on your vast experience in training, and I think we'll keep I know that you will have lots to tell us about this, but maybe we can keep it a little short. We would like to know how the global standards and best practices in maritime training can be ensured across different institutes and regions in India.
See, being a vast country, of course, you will find that there are differences. Bound to be there region-wise, as well as depends on where that institute per se is located. But most of our institutes, particularly the ones which are dealing with the certificate of competency courses, they are all located in the metropolitan cities. They have access to every possible technology or any other help, whatever they require for doing anything. In terms of actually, if you look at the global standards for the training that is being imparted, whatever places that we have visited, I really don't find any so great difference in terms of what is being conducted, let's say at your Great Eastern or Samudra Institute or MTI in Powai, as compared to probably an institute located in say UK or Norway or whatever 2-3 places that at least, or Philippines for that matter, whatever I happen to have visited. It is, I think we tend to go into a self-critical mode most of the times, which is very good, of course, to a certain extent, but not all the times. Our institutes are good, they are doing very well, and they will certainly do well in future for training our prospective seafarers. If you look at the numbers, I'm just going to another part of it. Let us say we have about 5,000 deck and engine officers and add another 600-700 ETOs to it. So if we are producing about 6,000 certificated officers every year against, let's say, a total number of about 70,000, 75,000 officers that we have, and if that much is continuously being produced as certificate, I'm not counting trainees coming into the institutes. On the same lines, you got to have induction in the faculty members as well. You can't keep depending on faculty members who joined 35 years ago or who joined 40 years ago. Like the way you have induction in the seafaring officers, and then they grow and then they leave and do something else, or bifurcate into this thing. All kinds of things. There's no need for me to give the list where our people are working. But at the same time, if you keep relying only in terms of the faculty, that what we inducted in 1989 will continue to hold good in 2050 also, is not the correct thing to do. If we are producing, say, about, I just worked out, about 7 to 8% is the induction every year in terms of seafarer. I'm only referring to only officers. Are we having 7 to 8% actual induction in terms of the faculty at the institutes? Unfortunately, no. So if we don't add young blood into the faculty and expect that the people of that age and stage will continue and they will keep developing to that extent to the technological development which you can't keep pace with that. The younger ones and the better ones can't keep pace with that. To expect that category of people to continue, it is not. You got to have fresh intake into the faculty. That's one. And I think the other part that was mentioned was, I will just give me 30 seconds to say that. If a local train carries, or it is designed and it has been tested and it has been done to carry, let us say, 1,000 people, and if the number of people required to travel is 2,000 or 3,000 or 4,000, you need to have 3 or 4 trains. To say that no, the braking stress is 4,000, 1,000 capacity is only the safe working load, why can't I carry 4,000 people in one train? That's my answer to the number of teaching hours that is being proposed all the times, that why do we limit the number of teaching hours for the teachers? Yes, there is no end to it. You can go 24 hours, 40 hours, 48 hours, n number of hours. If the optimally designed by great studies, by bodies like AICT or UGC is laid down at certain, we are already exceeding that. But to say that no, there are 40 in a week, why can't I do it 4 times? Very good. And then wait for the results yourself. Thank you.
I think very well put. I think Captain Yadav deserves a round of applause. My only submission is, Captain Yadav, you and me, we are part of the advisory board. And I think such points should come up when we talk about the improvements in training. That is one of the aspects. So I think we can definitely put it forth at least. I don't know if there will be solutions or there will be resolutions to that, but at least these are the very, very pertinent points which are there, including modernizing the trainer or having younger lot of trainer, and also the fact that about the training hours, this is a very, very sore point, and all of us and who have been very passionate about training, we feel very strongly about it. But the HRs of various companies or the people who are commercially minded, they take the easier aspect of the number of hours as per DG guidelines, and that's the easier way out. So I think there is time now that we as somebody who have been involved in the industry, put forth this point strongly to the people who matter, and let's see if something can come out positively out of that. So thank you so much, Captain Yadav. I'll quickly move on to the last 2 panelists, and then we'll try to wind it up. Prabhat is looking at me and looking at his watch, so we'll take another 10 minutes and we'll wind up. So Shilpa, as you said, rapid advancement of technology, training programs should increasingly incorporate new technologies and interactive methods to enhance learning experiences. How do we strike a balance between integrating these modern tools into training curriculum and ensuring that trainees still acquire a comprehensive understanding of the essential maritime knowledge and skills required for their roles?
In the previous panel discussion, somebody has mentioned digital tools cannot replace instructors, and that's very true. These tools are intelligent assistant, and they cannot replace the experienced instructors and trainers. So using these tools and the instructors' experience, hands-on experience on systems on board ship, and examples of their own experiences of how to work on the systems on board ship, this all will give an excellent output. Traditional teaching instructions in classrooms are also required to build up the strong fundamental basic fundamentals, and by using the digital tools like interactive simulations to bridging the gap between the theoretical knowledge and the practical application on board ship. And that's why I feel the foundation of effective learning in digital era is blended learning. And also at the same time, trainers are not only for this specific skill and experience nowadays. Today, they have to be equally digitally literate. So digital literacy is also is not only the option, but it's a fundamental requirement for the trainers and assessors today. Thank you.
Excellent, Shilpa. I think you have aptly mentioned it about how to amalgamate the traditional methodology and the modern technology. Proof of the pudding is in eating it. So let's see how well our trainers adapt to this and implement it into their training methodology in times to come. So thank you so much, Shilpa. My final question is to Captain Haldurai. Though we have spoken a lot about AI and Mr. Rabindra Sa had a wonderful presentation on that, what do you think about AI? Will it augment the training or will it replace the trainers totally?
Yeah, well, I think Shilpa has already answered this question. So just to add on to that, I would like to say that there is a misconception that once the technology develops, the faculties who are existing faculties will become redundant. There are two aspects to this. One, the technology which is on board the ship, definitely the youngsters can come and teach that. The existing faculties, it is not that seafarer is just about digital literacy, is just making a seafarer. There are a lot of aspects to that. So the existing faculties can take other subjects, whereas the newcomers or the person sailing faculty can handle that. And the other thing, the use of AI in teaching, obviously everyone should adapt to that. I think very beautiful tools are available, has already been expressed over there. Making lesson plans or for making lectures. There are very beautiful tools available. In a fraction of a second you can make it. You can make quizzes in the same, this one. You can, adopt this technology. Definitely I think every faculty should start using the AI in their training. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Captain Haldurai. I don't think we have time for questions from the audience. I would have loved to have taken them, and I'm sure there will be a lot of things which people would like to have asked, but unfortunately we are short of time. There's another session after lunch for the board of the Trainers Guild, so I think we will have to cut short. I am thankful to all the panelists for such engaging talks and wonderful discussions and deep insights. What are the takeaways are that the importance of continuous innovation in training methodology, the integration of advanced technologies, and the critical role of leadership in shaping the future of maritime education has all to be amalgamated and given equal importance. Our speakers have provided deep insights into the practical strategies that will undoubtedly be required to enhance the training and assessment practices. As we move forward in today's dynamic times in the maritime industry, I'm sure a lot of these insights and inputs will be used, and we will see the future of training taking a different path from what it has been traditionally. And I'm sure that we all will be geared up, as Captain Yadav says, that he doesn't feel any iota of doubt that all the trainers will adapt to the newer technology and will be equally successful in delivering it with their usual aplomb, with the experience that what they have done while handling the ships. And so we are all hopeful, positive, and feel that it will definitely be training into the new era, but with the same success what we have achieved till date. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Over to Captain Kamal Chidda.
Thank you, David. Brilliant ideas came out of this, and I think what Captain Kapoor is proposing to do is also, I think a lot of people actually been thinking of it, but he's going to do it. So great. Yes, may I invite Captain Halbe to please come up and do the honors? Ladies and gentlemen, last but not the least, a vote of thanks, which reminds me that when I started out as a cadet and I was training at the St. Pius College in SCI, we used to have a midterm course, and suddenly someone, the lecturer says, please stand up and thank the audience. It's a vote of thanks. I had never done any vote of thanks. All I'd done was heard of was vote, not the thanks bit. So I stood up and gave a big lecture on why we must vote. So that was a bit of a disaster. But since then I have learnt what it is and I managed to do a decent one. So ladies and gentlemen, as we near the culmination of this insightful Foundation Day seminar organized by the Maritime Trainers Guild at this prestigious venue of MCA, I am filled with gratitude and admiration for the enriching discussions and contributions made today. On behalf of our President, Captain Prabhat Nigam, our Vice President, Dr. Surinder, and the organizing committee, I extend my heartfelt thanks to our chief guest who has left, I can see, but I would like this conveyed to him later on in some manner. Our chief guest, the Director General of Shipping, for having graced this occasion and for having given us his precious time and attention. Very special word of gratitude to the esteemed speaker and the panelists who shared their expertise and experiences, enlightening us on the evolving landscape of maritime training. In fact, it's a very fast evolving landscape now, I should say. Your insights have undoubtedly broadened our perspectives and inspired us to strive for excellence in this field. A very special appreciation goes to our attendees whose active participation and thought-provoking questions haven't come yet, but I think they will come later. You can always email to the panelists, or you can have a little chat with them over lunch. Yes, your enthusiasm and engagement have made this seminar a truly interactive and a stimulating event. I must acknowledge the dedicated efforts of the organizing committee, the mentors and the steering committee, and those who have worked tirelessly behind the scenes to ensure the seamless execution of this seminar. Your commitment and hard work have not gone unnoticed and have contributed significantly to the success of this event. What could we have done without our sponsors? A big, big thank you for loosening your purse strings to make this event a reality. A word of gratefulness to our Marix staff who are forcibly volunteering today on their weekend holiday. As we depart from this seminar with renewed zeal and enriched knowledge, let us carry forward the insights gained today to further enhance the standards of maritime training and contribute to the growth and development of our industry.